Chapter 1007. Upon hearing this, Zhou Wan pretended to be ashamed. We don't have many children. We only have 3 good-for-nothing children. Please excuse us. However, the arrogance in her eyes betrayed her. Others couldn't see it, but she couldn't hide it from Wang Daoyuan. The Wen family members in the stone room were shocked. The 3 children all had special constitutions, and their spirit roots were so strong. Any one of them was more talented than Wen Bingxian. They had long suspected that Wang Daoyuan was a disciple of a hidden power, but now it seemed that they had underestimated him. There were many Yuanian cultivators in the Sea of 7 Stars, and there were also many female Yuanian cultivators. As long as their cultivation level was not lower than that of the Yuanian cultivators, their descendants would all have heavenly spirit roots. In the Qixing Sea Shuxian community, heavenly spirit roots were not rare. However, there were also differences in heavenly spirit roots. Even if the parents were Yuanian cultivators, it was not easy for them to have a heavenly spirit root that was more than 9.5 inches. A battle physique plus a 9.7-inch heavenly spirit root was considered a top talent in the Sea of 7 Stars. As for the spirit body, it had nothing to do with the parents' cultivation level. To a large extent, it depended on luck. If the parents were mortals, it was also possible for them to have spirit body descendants. The Qixing Sea Shuxian community was formed by islands, which were often attacked by demon beasts. There were not many mortals and low-level cultivators, so there were naturally not many spirit body cultivators. A 9.7-inch heavenly spirit root with a spirit body was too scary. A younger early-stage Yuanian cultivator asked, "What is a sword body?" After asking, he realized that he had said something wrong and was a little embarrassed. Moon Sungqion came back to his senses. A sword body is a type of battle physique, and it is much stronger than ordinary battle physiques. A Mahayana sword cultivator's divine ability must be related to sword cultivation. Only then will there be a higher possibility of leaving behind a sword body for their descendants. If their cultivation level is low, the possibility of their descendants having a sword body is very small. People with a sword body are all natural sword cultivators. From the moment they were born, they carried with them a murderous aura. When he used ordinary offensive spells, his power would far surpass that of ordinary cultivators. In addition to being able to learn the sword will without a teacher, one could also use the innate killing intent to cultivate the natal sword qi. Relying on this natal sword qi, fighting above his level was a piece of cake. Zhou Daoyu's second son had such talent. As long as he could find a rank 7 spirit vein, it would not be impossible for him to cultivate to the almighty realm. In the vast Qixing Sea Shuxian community, there hasn't been a sword body for tens of thousands of years. There are only records of it in ancient books. The early-stage Yuanian cultivator was also shocked. He didn't expect the sword body to be so strong. After a long while, everyone regained their senses. Their faces were filled with respect. To be able to give birth to a descendant with a sword body, it was very likely that there had been a Mahayana sword cultivator among their ancestors. Just this foundation alone was not something the Wen clan could compare to. How could the Taoist companion of such an outstanding disciple of a hidden great power be an ordinary person? He must also have an extremely prominent family background. Meddling in other people's family affairs could easily lead to trouble. If a few soul formation cultivators were to be provoked, the Wen clan would not be able to clean up the mess. The Yuanian cultivator who had previously asked Wang Daoyuan to marry the Black Ice Fairy cupped his hands and said, "Senior Zhou, I didn't expect you to have such a family background. I have been rude." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, "It's okay. Let's heal Wen Daoyu first. This place is a bit shabby. There are no meditation rooms or anything like that. Can I heal here?" "Of course." Daoyu received the gift of heaven and earth after the soul formation heavenly tribulation. His essence soul should be intact. You only need to check the injuries on his physical body. Daoyu, please retract the spirit qi in your physical body. Don't stop me from checking. Moon Sungqion nodded and retracted all the spirit qi in his physical body. Wang Daoyuan condensed the ice spirit qi from the water and gold spirit qi and injected it into Moon Sungchion's body, circulating it through his meridians. Daoyu's physical body has a lot of injuries. Many of his internal organs are injured. However, most of his injuries have recovered by more than 90%. The remaining ones can only be said to be some lingering problems in his divine sense. As long as he doesn't try to break through to the Mahayana realm, there won't be any major problems. The biggest problem is that his qi and blood are constantly flowing out. Improving his essence, soul and physical body requires a large amount of qi and blood. It's already quite difficult to maintain the current state with the remaining qi and blood. It's impossible for him to go any further. Old injuries are difficult to heal. If you want to remove the roots of your injuries, I can't do anything unless I find some heavenly treasure. However, I have a way to make these injuries not affect your cultivation. Hearing that there was hope, everyone in the Wen clan looked expectant. Moon Sungcheon quickly said, Dao Yu, please tell me what you can do. No matter what reward you want, as long as I can give it, I won't refuse. Last time when the Seven Stars Secret Realm opened, the Wen clan, Blood Shark, and the Seven Stars Alliance fought over some artifact forging and puppet forging inheritances. When Dao Yu retakes the position of clan head, just give me the copies of these inheritances. The young Yuanian cultivator spoke without thinking again. We haven't heard of this before. Only the Wen clan's trader, the Seven Stars Alliance, and the higher-ups of Blood Shark should know about this. Since you know so much, could you be the early Yuanian cultivator from back then? Moon Sungcheon angrily rebuked, don't talk nonsense. The cultivator quickly stood up and bowed. I misspoke. Please forgive me. Wang Daoyuan waved his hand. Even if I didn't say this, Miss Wen and Wen Zhong would have guessed it. That's right, I'm the early Yuanian cultivator who entered the Ziwei Palace back then. I also stole most of the artifact forging inheritances. Moon Sungcheon had guessed that it was him before, but he wasn't sure. Now that Wang Daoyuan admitted it, he had no choice but to believe it. On second thought, it didn't matter even if this matter was spread. Wang Daoyuan didn't have any assets in Qixing Si Shuxian community. Who could do anything to a soul formation cultivator who had nothing to worry about? Dao Yu, don't worry. Some inheritance copies won't be a problem. This matter can't be spread. Anyone who disobeys will be removed from the family tree. The Wen clan members naturally knew the severity of the matter, so they all agreed. Let's heal first. Wen Daoyu's injuries have dragged on for more than 300 years. There's not much hope of getting rid of the roots. Relying on the life force in the spirit fire alone won't be of much use. Then, he took out a blood lotus seed. This item can heal the decline of blood and qi. Wen Daoyu should have no problem healing the decline of blood and qi if he takes this and uses it with his life force. The remaining blood lotus seed was planted in the space of the spirit pearl. During the chaos in the southern wasteland, he caught a late-stage golden core blood demon and used his blood essence to grow the first batch of 4th-grade blood lotus seeds. Later, he used the blood essence of the Yuanian blood demon to plant another batch. The blood lotus seed in Wang Daoyuan's hands was already a 5th-grade, middle-grade blood lotus seed. However, the blood lotus seed required too much blood essence. Xue Quan, a peak-stage Yuanian demon, could only grow 2 true demon blood lotuses at most without affecting his own strength. Moon Sungcheon carefully examined the blood lotus seed and exclaimed, this item contains extremely pure blood and qi. It's indeed extraordinary. Moreover, my Wen clan's ancient records have never mentioned this item. Wen Daoyu, have you heard of blood demons? This kind of demon appeared in the myriad demon islands. They absorb blood essence to cultivate. This blood lotus seed was nurtured with the blood demon's blood essence. Perhaps things will move in the opposite direction when they reach an extreme. The chaotic energy in the blood demon's blood essence has been purified by the true demon's snow lotus. Only pure blood essence is left in the blood lotus seed. Dao Yu, if you trust me, take the blood lotus seed. I'll use my life force to assist you. It should be able to treat the loss of blood essence. If it can't be cured, I have no other way. I naturally trust Daoyu's character. If he really had any ulterior motives, he could have dealt with me when he brought me out of the secret underwater realm. Finishing his words, he took the blood lotus seed and swallowed it. Then, he sat cross-legged on the ground and began to refine the blood lotus seed. A life spirit fire appeared in Wang Daoyuan's hand, and an azure dragon flew out from the fire. The azure dragon opened its mouth and spat out wisps of white mist, which merged into Moon Sungchion's body. The natal magic tool was in the crucial period of forming its spirit, so it couldn't be used casually. Using the azure dragon reversal technique barehanded was less interesting than using the azure dragon pearl. However, the life force and the blood lotus seed from before were real. Moon Sungchion was originally lacking in blood essence. His face was pale, and he looked like he was overworked. After swallowing the blood lotus seed for less than 10 breaths, color began to return to his face. Chapter 1008. The blood qi of the blood lotus seed and the life force of the azure dragon flowed rapidly through Wen Qingtian's meridians, flowing through every part of his body and into his blood. The power of the mid-grade level 5 blood lotus seed was not much for a soul formation cultivator, but it still took Moon Sungchion 3 days to completely refine it. At this moment, Moon Sungchion's body was emitting powerful blood qi waves. Although he could not be compared to Wang Daoyuan, he was still much stronger than a late-stage Yuanying cultivator. After refining the last bit of power of the blood lotus seed, Moon Sungchion stopped circulating his spiritual power. He stood up and felt his body. I've never felt so powerful in the past 300 years. Wang Daoyuan turned the azure dragon back into spiritual fire and put it back into his body. How's Daoyu's recovery? My blood qi won't continue to decline. I tried to use spiritual power to convert it. The conversion efficiency is about the same as recorded in the ancient records. There shouldn't be any problems. That's good. I've already done what I promised Daoyu. As an outsider, it's inappropriate for me to interfere with the Wen family's affairs. I'll take my leave first. Then, he took out a jade pendant. After you take back the position of the Wen family head, crush this jade pendant. I'll come back for my reward. Moon Sungchion took the jade pendant. Daoyu, don't worry. I'll take back the position of the family head soon. Wang Daoyuan held Zhou Wan's hand and walked out. The Black Ice Fairy's expression was very strange. There was joy and sadness. However, no one else noticed her. Only Wen Zhong looked at her and sighed. Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan left the secret realm and took a flying boat to the southwest. Zhou Wan kept staring at Wang Daoyuan. She stared at him until he felt uncomfortable. Why are you looking at me like that? Who's looking at you like that? I just didn't expect that a lecherous person like you would actually reject the Wen clan's proposal. The Wen clan has more than one divine transformation realm cultivator. If you marry Wen Bingxian, you can borrow the Wen clan's power. With the help of the Wen clan, you can also unify the Sea of 7 Stars faster. If I marry Wen Bingxian, will the Wen clan listen to my orders? With the identity of the Wen family's son-in-law, I'm afraid that some people in the Wen family will think that I'm living off a woman. To subdue the Wen clan, he had to marry Wen Bingxian. To subdue the Blood Shark and the 7 Stars Alliance, did he have to marry someone else? In the future, there will be too many forces to subdue in the Battle of Providence. How many wives and concubines will I have to marry? After a moment of silence, he said, speaking of which, this doesn't seem too bad. Before he could finish his words, he suffered a heavy blow to his waist. I knew you weren't a good person. You eat what's in the bowl and look at what's in the pot. You even plan for things that you didn't see. Lord Shadow Master, please spare me, don't hit my waist. If you hurt my waist, I'm not the only one who'll suffer. Zhou Wan snorted coldly and kicked his calf again. Wang Daoyuan had thick skin and flesh, so this attack was nothing to him. Lord Shadow Master, don't worry. Wen Bingxian is just a silly girl. How can she compare to you? We've been Taoist companions for more than 200 years. We know each other very well. If you don't want to get involved in the Wen clan's affairs, where should we go next? Of course we're going to watch the show. Back then, I was too weak and was chased by those mad dogs, Blood Shark and the Seven Stars Alliance, so I didn't dare to show my face. Now that I have enough strength, the two enemies are fighting each other again. I'm also curious about what good things they found on our rare treasure island. After flying for hundreds of thousands of miles, something happened in the space of the spiritual pearl. Xian Xian said to Wang Daoyuan's doppelganger, "Master, the spirit of lava you captured at the bottom of the sea has given in." Wang Daoyuan took out the Xian Xian cauldron. Xian Xian quickly showed off. "Master, I tortured this guy for a long time. He finally gave in. Please decide what to do with him. This guy has great potential. He'll be very useful in the future. Since he's willing to join us, we'll train him well. Take him out. I'll see if he's sincere." "Master, what if he runs away?" "It doesn't matter. I can take him down when I'm at the peak of Yuanying. Now that I've reached the soul formation stage, I can take him down even if he's in a volcano, let alone on the sea." Then, he activated his domain technique. After the breakthrough, the range of his domain technique had also increased. Now, it could cover an area of 1,000 miles. A fiery red lava ball gushed out of the Xian Xian cauldron and then turned into a human shape. After being tortured by the Xian Xian cauldron for a long time, there was no lava to replenish his spiritual power. Now, the spirit of lava was only 3 meters tall and was no longer as domineering as before. Wang Daoyuan said with his divine sense, "Are you willing to submit to me?" This spirit of lava had very little contact with humans and couldn't understand human language before. "Don't bother. I've learned to speak human language from this damn cauldron. I didn't expect you to be so smart." "Of course. I'm a naturally born spirit, unlike that damn cauldron, which was created by humans." Seeing that this guy thought so highly of himself, Wang Daoyuan was delighted. It was good that he was willing to communicate. The worst thing was that he was silent. Artificial spirits are not necessarily bad. With the help of Master, they can grow faster. You must have stayed in the lava at the bottom of the sea for more than 10,000 years to grow to your current level. My artifact spirit was born less than 100 years ago and is now sleeping. When they wake up, they will be level 6 artifact spirits and be stronger than you. As long as they are not too far away from the artifact, they will have endless power. After you leave the lava, you will be weak. The spirit of lava was not convinced, but he did not continue to argue. "Are you willing to submit or not? If you are, take me as your master and cultivate in my personal mystic realm. It won't take long for you to break through to level 6. If you don't agree, I won't keep a threat by my side." A naturally born spirit should be the best tonic for an artifact spirit. The Xian Xian is drooling over you. Hearing this, the spirit of lava was a little conflicted. No matter what, it was a naturally born spirit. It would be too embarrassing to submit like this. But if it didn't submit, it would be devoured. "I can submit, but you have to show me what you're capable of. You didn't catch me with your true ability. If you can defeat me head-on, I can submit to you." "Okay, you go first." The spirit of lava did not attack Wang Daoyuan. Instead, he turned around and dove into the sea. The Xian Xian was a little anxious and wanted to control the Xian Xian cauldron to chase after him. Wang Daoyuan waved his hand. "Don't worry. He doesn't have much spirit energy left. There is no way he can escape." 2 breaths later, a ball of water floated out of the sea. The spirit of lava was wrapped inside. Wang Daoyuan summoned Yinglong. "Since you are not willing to submit, there is no need for me to keep you." Yinglong dove into the ball of water and bound the spirit of lava. The Xian Xian cauldron also pressed down on him. The spirit of lava begged for mercy. "I am willing to submit." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and Yinglong flew over with the spirit of lava. "I have many experts under me. It doesn't matter if you have one or not. Don't think too highly of yourself. If you continue to play tricks, the Xian won't be the only one who wants to eat you. You've seen my winged dragon avatar before. Even the artifact spirit of a mighty figure's artifact admitted defeat. What can you do? I will use the master recognition technique on you. This is your last chance to live. If you resist and cause the master recognition technique to fail, it will be too late for you to beg for mercy. There were many similarities between the master recognition technique and the master recognition technique of the spirit of nature. After all, the ancestors of the demon beasts were all ancient mutated beasts. These ancient mutated beasts were basically born and bred by heaven and earth. They were also considered spirits of nature. The Valley of Beasts had a huge inheritance system and was involved in all aspects. However, when it started, it was still mainly beast taming. Naturally, there was no lack of methods to recognize a master. The methods to control spirit beasts and spirits of nature could be called the spirit manipulation technique. The spirit manipulation technique was an extremely huge inheritance system. The methods to control spirit beasts and spirits were different. The method Wang Daoyuan used was the spirit manipulation technique left behind by the founder of the Valley of Beasts, the divine beast Venerable. He forced out a drop of blood essence and integrated a wisp of divine consciousness into it. Then, he controlled the blood essence and drew complicated inscriptions out of thin air. He had never used such a profound method to make the spirit of beasts recognize a master before. It took him an hour to draw out all the ownership recognition inscriptions. The spirit of lava was still a little unconvinced and wanted to struggle. Wang Daoyuan snorted coldly. You can resist. If you fail, you will die. After saying that, he began to use the spirit manipulation technique. The inscriptions condensed from the blood essence and divine consciousness were integrated into the spirit of lava spirit. Spirits of nature and weapon spirits were unformed spirit clans. They had something similar to a spirit, but they did not have a spirit essence. They could not be called spirits. This fellow looked unwilling, but it did not dare to resist. After 15 minutes, the inscriptions merged with its spirit. Chapter 1009. After recognizing him as its master, Wang Daoyuan made the lava spirit cry out in pain. What did you do to me? With that, his body glowed brightly, and he was about to spit out flames. Wang Daoyuan used the spirit control technique again, but his technique was interrupted. The secret technique I used on you is a type of spirit control technique. As long as I think about it, no matter where you run, you will be in so much pain that you wish you were dead. If I want you to die, it will be easy. He then summoned a wisp of scarlet yang primordial flame. I have countless tier 6 spirit flames. As long as you are obedient, your cultivation speed will not be any slower than the setting sun abyss. In the future, you will have a chance to become a true spirit race individual. If you play any tricks, you will not only be eaten by Xian. Spirit race? The lava spirit was confused. Xian explained, weapon spirits like us and nature spirits like you are not complete life forms. But we can go one step further and become a real life form. When the Qianyuan world was first formed, it was barren everywhere, and there were no life forms. Later on, a group of spirit race was naturally born, and many of them had the strength of an earth immortal when they were born. Some of these spirit race gradually died out, while others left behind their bloodlines. The one pestering you now is one of the strongest spirit race back then, Yinglong. The top 5 elements divine beasts are all descendants of Yinglong. Not only is he strong, but he is also favored by the Qianyuan world's providence. Our master is able to control Yinglong, so he must be a person with great providence. It is not impossible for him to become an earth immortal in the future. We help our master to conquer the world, and we can also obtain some of his providence, and become a real spirit race, an existence like the ancient mutated beasts. Now that the Qianyuan world is not as good as before, it is very difficult to give birth to another spirit race. This is the north of the decimating heaven abyss, and the spirit chi is gradually drying up. We have no hope of becoming a real spirit race. In the future, the spirit veins in the sunset abyss will also gradually dry up, and when the spirit chi in the lava drops below level 5, you will slowly die. The spirit of lava fell into deep thought. He had stayed in the sunset abyss for many years and naturally knew that the spirit energy in the spirit vein had been decreasing slowly. He had always wanted to find a way to survive, but he was a lava spirit born at the bottom of the sea. The spiritual energy in other places was even weaker than in the setting sun abyss, so he didn't know where to go. A nature spirit was not like an artifact spirit. As long as the artifact was not destroyed, even if it fell below the 5th grade, the artifact spirit would only be in a deep slumber. There was still a chance for it to wake up in the future. Once a nature spirit couldn't find a level 5 spiritual energy, it would slowly wither away and wouldn't have the chance to hibernate. I can follow you, but I don't want to be tied down. In your dreams, you have to take care of whoever's bull. If you want to benefit from me, you have to be obedient. Your wild nature is hard to tame. If I don't use the Imperial Spirit technique to restrain you, when it's time to use you, you'll retaliate and I won't have a place to cry. There's nothing wrong with me. If you're obedient, why would I torture you? Besides, I don't want to torture anyone. If you don't listen, I'll let Yinglong and the Xian Xian eat you. The lava spirit felt a little wronged, but it had no choice but to listen obediently when it met someone who was strong and unreasonable. Since you've submitted to me, you have to have a name. I'll call you Spirited Flame from now on. Cultivate well in my secret realm, and it's only a matter of time before you reach the 6th grade. Then, he put the Xian Xian cauldron and Spirited Flame into the space of the spiritual pearl. Zhou Wan asked, "Are we going to the Rare Treasures Island next? I heard that there are countless blood corals there. I want to take a look." That's the foothold of the blood shark's attack on the 7 big islands. It's also the focus of the battle between the two sides. There should be many soul formation cultivators there. If we go there rashly, we can only fight with the blood shark. The entire Sea of 7 Stars is in a mess. There's no place to stay. We'll go to the Fire Lotus Island at the northernmost part of the Demon Islands. That's the important trade point between the Sea of 7 Stars and the Demon Islands. Usually, many itinerant cultivators who couldn't survive in the Sea of 7 Stars came here to make a living. Now, the Sea of 7 Stars was fighting on the Rare Treasures Island, which was an important trade point. The itinerant cultivators on the island wouldn't just sit there and wait for death. They would definitely flee in all directions. Both sides would not provoke the myriad demons archipelago. Therefore, many itinerant cultivators fled to the Fire Lotus Island. We should be able to find out what happened on the Rare Treasures Island if we go there and ask around. The two of them boarded Lei Peng's flying boat and released their clones, Liao Yang and Chen Zhaoyi, to control the flying boat and record the specific situation of the islands and the sea along the way. Shadow Lord, we'll fly from the edge of the Sea of 7 Stars along the western edge of the Sea of 7 Stars to the Demon Islands a few million miles south of the Sea of 7 Stars. Even if there are no demon beasts to disturb us, we'll still have to fly for more than half a month. We can't delay our cultivation. Before Zhou Wan could say anything, he carried her into the bedroom. The flying boat had been flying a few million miles west of the Sea of 7 Stars, but they didn't encounter any itinerant cultivators. Half a month later, Wang Daoyuan felt that the spiritual aura had become somewhat violent. Zhou Wan's cultivation level was slightly lower, but she was still a late-stage Yuanian cultivator after all. She was also awakened by the violent spiritual aura. Daoyuan, have we reached the Demon Islands? We shouldn't be far away, but there's still enough time. Why don't we hurry up, Anne? Zhou Wan pinched his waist. Get up. Don't delay our business. I just remembered that you were lying on my chest. I couldn't get up. Zhou Wan waved her hand, and a fiery red dress flew over. A red light flashed. Zhou Wan had already put on her clothes and was sitting in front of the dressing mirror. Why did you put on your clothes so quickly? After saying that, she also got up and put on her clothes. The two of them changed to an ordinary flying boat and suppressed their cultivation level to the late-stage Yuaniing. A few days later, they landed in a market square in the north of the Fire Lotus Island. As soon as the two of them landed, a young golden core cultivator immediately approached them. Seniors, I've lived here for dozens of years and know the Fire Lotus Island very well. What do you want to buy? I can help you. This was the broker here, but he was just an amateur. The young man in front of them had a fiery aura and a medicinal fragrance. He should be an alchemist. Alchemists and blacksmiths who weren't very skilled would come out to find something to do and earn some cultivation resources when they were nurturing medicinal pills and magic tools. No need. When I lived on this island, you probably hadn't formed your core yet. The young man was somewhat embarrassed. I was too rash. After he left, Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, "This Fire Lotus Island is much more lively than before. 100 years ago, there were very few cultivators here. Now, the number has increased by at least 4 or 5 times. When the Seven Stars Alliance and Blood Shark started fighting, many cultivators ran here to take refuge. I wonder if the small courtyard I bought back then has been sold." The two of them walked towards the southeast corner of the market square. Soon, they arrived near the courtyard they bought. Back then, this courtyard was in the southeast corner of the market square. There were no other buildings around it. Now, the market square extended more than 10 miles into the depths of the island. This courtyard could be considered to be in the downtown area. His doppelganger rummaged through the space in the spiritual pearl for a long time before finding the formation token of this courtyard. Wang Daoyuan tested it with the token. As expected, the defensive formation of the courtyard was turned off. It seems like the manager of this market square isn't completely evil. After not coming here for so many years, he still hasn't taken away my courtyard. Let's go in. At this moment, a mid-stage Yuanian cultivator at the entrance of the courtyard next door shouted, "Are you Wuchuan, Daoyu?" Wang Daoyuan turned around. It was a familiar face. This person was Li Chen, the one who went out to sea to hunt demonic beasts when they first came to Rare Treasures Island. 100 years ago, we parted ways on Rare Treasures Island. I didn't expect to meet Brother Li here. It's really you. I heard that you were hunted down by the Huang family. I was too weak to help you. I was worried about you. I didn't expect you to be fine. You even reached the late stage Yuanying. Don't mention it. I was hunted down by Master Huang and hid in the myriad demon islands for nearly 100 years. Why did Brother Li come to this Fire Lotus Island? The Huang family wouldn't go so far as to hunt you down, right? That's not it. The Huang family doesn't have the time to care about me. After you left, I still hunted demonic beasts on Rare Treasures Island like before. However, Blood Shark and the Seven Stars Alliance started a war and the rogue cultivators all fled. Naturally, I didn't dare to continue staying on Rare Treasures Island. So, I took a flying boat to the myriad demon islands with Daoyu. After traveling for a few years, I felt that Fire Lotus Island was the most suitable place to stay. I've already lived here for more than 10 years. May I know who this Daoyu is? This is my Dao companion. Let's not talk about this first. I've been wandering around the myriad demon islands all these years. I don't know much about the Sea of Seven Stars. I wanted to take revenge on Rare Treasures Island, but I heard that Blood Shark and the Seven Stars Alliance started a war. I was just about to find someone to ask about it. Brotherly, you've been staying on Rare Treasures Island all year round. Do you know the inside story? I know a little, but not much. It's good that you know a little. Let's talk inside. Then, he opened the door of the courtyard. The courtyard hadn't been cleaned for 100 years and was covered in dust. He waved his hand and cast an immaculate art. The entire courtyard became clean and tidy. The three sat down in the room. Li Chen smiled and said, "This matter is spreading like wildfire outside. Some say that it's a fight for treasure. Some say that a large-scale secret realm has been discovered on Rare Treasures Island, comparable to the Seven Stars secret realm. Some say that the Imperial Wind Sovereign, the sect master of the Imperial Regency, has returned and has broken through the Great Ascension realm. There are many such rumors, but most of them have no basis. However, the discovery of a large-scale secret realm might be true. A few years before Blood Shark attacked, there were many earthquakes in the deep sea south of Rare Treasures Island. However, as soon as the earthquake appeared, the Seven Stars Alliance and the Blood Shark pirates sealed off the sea region, making it impossible for others to enter. I'm not sure what good things have appeared. At that time, there were rumors that there were strong spatial fluctuations at the bottom of the sea. Maybe a new secret realm has appeared. That's not right. If there were signs a few years ago, the Seven Stars Alliance wouldn't be so unprepared. Although the two sides maintain a balance, the Seven Stars Alliance is stronger. If they were prepared, Blood Shark wouldn't have been able to take Rare Treasures Island. There's something fishy about this matter. I'm not sure. However, a few days before Blood Shark attacked, a strange phenomenon occurred in one of Blood Shark's businesses on Rare Treasures Island. A 300-meter-long golden monster, Kirin, with a purple glow on its body, soared into the sky from the shop. The purple and golden light emitted by Kirin covered an area of 30 to 40 kilometers. Yuanian cultivators could see this scene from thousands of kilometers away. The Kirin hovered above the shop for a dozen breaths of time before slowly disappearing. A rare treasure has appeared on Rare Treasures Island. In order to seize it, Blood Shark didn't hesitate to start a war with the Seven Stars Alliance. This was the reason for the rumors. I've seen this strange Kirin with my own eyes. However, I'm ignorant and don't know what this strange Kirin is or where it came from. Chapter 10:10. The Kirin clan was rare and they didn't have a huge appetite like the Dragon clan. Therefore, the Kirin bloodline was extremely rare. Wang Daoyuan had traveled around for hundreds of years, but he had never seen a living Kirin bloodline. He had only seen Dharma artifacts made from Kirin's corpse. Gu Qingfeng's natal Dharma artifact was made from the bones of the yellow-maned Kirin. He also had a beast soul talisman made from the yellow-maned Kirin's soul. Although the spirit veins in the Sea of Seven Stars were of a higher grade, there were still very few legends about Kirin. The strange Kirin that Brother Li mentioned should be some kind of monster with Kirin's bloodline. After all, there are no level 7 spirit veins in the Sea of Seven Stars, so it's impossible for a real Kirin divine beast to appear. It's not a big deal for a monster with Kirin's bloodline to look strange. Wu brothers, you must be joking. I'm a rogue cultivator and I don't know much. But as a Yuanian cultivator, I can still tell the strength of a monster's aura. I've seen the Blood Shark and the Soul Formation cultivators of the Seven Stars Alliance. This strange Kirin's aura is much stronger than a normal half-divine beast. Even the Soul Formation cultivators I've seen are not as strong as this strange Kirin. Hearing that, Wang Daoyuan felt a little strange. Generally speaking, the strength of a monster with a divine beast's bloodline mainly depended on the purity of the divine beast's bloodline. If this strange Kirin was only a monster with Kirin's bloodline and was stronger than a normal half-divine beast, then its bloodline should be pure. Then his Qilin bloodline should be relatively pure, and his appearance should be similar to a real Qilin, so it shouldn't be too strange. I'm a bit curious. What does this Kirin look like that Brother Li calls it a strange Kirin? This strange Kirin looks very strange. It's half dragon and half Kirin. Its torso is similar to a legendary Kirin and it also has 4 hooves. But a normal Kirin's tail isn't long and has a long mane. This strange Kirin's tail is thick and long, more like a dragon's tail. Its neck is also much longer than a Kirin's, and its head is smaller than a Kirin's head. Dragon horns and Kirin's, but there are differences Kirin's horns. But this strange Kirin's horns have 2 horns have horns, SSSS longs. The strange Qilin's horns were extremely long. If one were to compare the size of its head, it would be even longer than the average dragon's horns, have 9 Kirin's. Kirin S have Kirin's S, wings's, SSSS the wings weren't big, and they were always curled up. If one didn't look carefully, it would be hard to notice. I wasn't far away at that time, so I saw it very clearly. This Kirin was indeed strange. It had the characteristics of a dragon, a phoenix, and a Kirin at the same time. The older the dragon race is, the longer their dragon horns will be. They will also grow some small forks. The characteristics of the strange Kirin horns are indeed similar to those of the dragon clan. It might have some dragon clan bloodline. That's possible. At that time, I did feel that Kirin's aura was a bit like a dragon's. However, this dragon might is extremely strong. It's not something that ordinary dragons can compare to. Is that strange Kirin a living demonic beast? Or is it an illusion? I can't say for sure. Even if it's a spell from a deity transformation cultivator, it's impossible for it to have such a powerful aura. Moreover, the strange Kirin was extremely agile and could not be imitated by magic. However, it was unlikely that it was a living creature. With the appearance of such a powerful demonic beast, the surrounding shops and houses had long been destroyed. It's no wonder that after the Kirin appeared, the nearby buildings were not damaged at all. I also heard that no cultivators were injured. After saying this, he looked at Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan and said with a smile, "Wu brothers and sister-in-law have just arrived, so I won't disturb you. I'm just an itinerant cultivator, so this is all I know. Goodbye." Wang Daoyuan walked him to the door and then activated the formation. Moreover, he checked every corner of the courtyard to make sure that no one had left any tricks behind. One must always be on guard against others. Blood Shark already knew that Wu Chuan was Zhou Ming. If he was willing to spend a lot of effort to investigate, he might be able to find the Fire Lotus Island. After a thorough search, he didn't find any problems. After returning to the room, Zhou Wan was a bit puzzled. What is this strange Kirin that Li Chen mentioned? It's impossible for that strange Kirin to be a mixed-blood divine beast. After all, mixed-blood divine beasts aren't strong to begin with. They're even weaker than a half-divine beast. Those half-divine beasts have the bloodlines of divine beasts and ordinary demonic beasts. The bloodlines of ordinary demonic beasts naturally can't be compared to those of divine beasts. Therefore, the divine beast bloodlines of half-divine beasts have an absolute advantage. Even if the concentration of divine beast bloodlines is low, they can still display the obvious characteristics of divine beasts. However, if one has two types of divine beast bloodlines at the same time, both bloodlines won't be able to gain the upper hand. If the bloodline advantage can't be used, the mixed-blood divine beast will usually be very weak. If one has the characteristics of a dragon and a phoenix Kirin at the same time, it's even harder to produce an expert with three types of divine beast bloodlines. In the ancient records of Blood Shadow, there are no records of powerful mixed-blood divine beasts. In the records of the Valley of Beasts, are there any records of mixed-blood experts with three types of divine beasts? Wang Daoyuan shook his head. When two types of bloodlines are mixed, there's a very small chance of producing an extremely powerful offspring. The records of the Valley of Beasts have recorded such divine beasts. However, there are no records of mixed-blood descendants with three types of divine beasts. This definitely isn't a mixed blood of a dragon and a phoenix Kirin. I think I can guess what this mixed-blood divine beast is. What is it? This is Kenma. It's related to the dragon and the phoenix Kirin at the same time, but it's not a mixed-blood divine beast. In the ancient records of Blood Shadow, there's no mention of this divine beast. What is it? Kenma is the son of Yinglong. Yinglong gave birth to Kenma, and Kenma gave birth to Kirin. Its appearance should be between Yinglong and Kirin. Looking at it this way, the strange Kirin that Li Chen mentioned isn't so strange. Kenma is the same as Yinglong. There's only one of them in the world. Although it created the Kirin race, it quickly disappeared. According to Li Chen, that thing suddenly appeared and disappeared without leaving a trace. It shouldn't have a physical body. Kenma is an ancient divine beast, and it's not very famous. Even Blood Shadow doesn't know about Kenma. The inheritance of the Sea of Seven Stars isn't as good as Beiyuan's, so they shouldn't know about this divine beast. That strange Kirin shouldn't be anyone's magic. It might really be a treasure from ancient times. Wang Daoyuan pondered for a long time, then said, "There's another possibility. This Kenma is someone's purple mansion anomaly. There are very few legends about Kenma, and there's never been any mention of the purple light. Yinglong and Kirin don't have any means related to the purple light, so Kenma shouldn't have it either. Also, Li Qin said that this Kenma is extremely intelligent. Magic tools and spells imitate the divine beast's form. Even if it's just a copy, it will appear to have form but no spirit. As the son of Yinglong and the ancestor of the 5 divine beasts, Kenma's luck isn't low. If a cultivator uses a spell in the form of Yinglong, it's very easy for them to suffer a backlash. Kenma might also have this characteristic, so it shouldn't be a spell. There's only one Kenma in the world, and it disappeared during the ancient times. It can't be his soul. It's very intelligent and not a soul, so it's most likely a purple mansion anomaly. The golden light that appeared in Kenma covered the purple light when the purple mansion was opened, so no one thought of this. Why would a purple mansion anomaly cause such a huge commotion? Have you forgotten about Ming Ren and Ming Xian? Their purple mansion anomaly stunned the entire Qingli city. How can that be the same? Ming Ren and Ming Xian are my children. Also, you're the son of Providence. They're your children, so they should have some luck. It's normal for them to be better than ordinary people. But there's more than one son of Providence. You're saying that this Kenma was born when a son of Providence opened his purple mansion, and that a son of Providence appeared in Blood Shark? Wang Daoyuan nodded. Li Qin said that a few years before the war, the southern sea of Rare Treasures Island trembled, and there were spatial fluctuations. It's very likely that a mystic realm appeared. The two families didn't start a war because of this. Instead, they cooperated and sealed off the news. A few days after Kenma appeared, Blood Shark suddenly attacked. It's clear that Kenma's value is even higher than a mystic realm. Although the Imperial Regency doesn't have a deep foundation, it still has a lot of inheritance from Xunlian School. In the history of Xunlian School, more than one powerful person has appeared, so there must be a lot of records about the Son of Providence. It's not strange that Blood Shark and the 7 Stars Alliance know about the Son of Providence. I'm guessing that this Son of Providence wasn't valued by Blood Shark before and was casually thrown on Rare Treasures Island. In the end, he opened his purple mansion and caused a huge commotion. Perhaps he was worried that the 7 Stars Alliance would find out about the Son of Providence, so he acted first. He could keep the secret of the Son of Providence and take the mystic realm that might exist for himself. In any case, the two sides will fight sooner or later. If he takes the initiative, he might have a better chance of winning. That makes sense. He really might be the Son of Providence. But I don't understand. You're also a Son of Providence, but you're already a soul formation cultivator. Why did the Son of Providence of the Sea of 7 Stars only open his purple mansion? Also, you're also a Son of Providence, but your avatar is Yinglong. Why is his avatar Kenma so coincidentally? Could it be that you're going easy on him behind my back? Wang Daoyuan was speechless that he could connect all these things together. What's the relationship between the two? That 5 elements divine beast is Yinglong's grandchild and Mingqian's son. Kenma is definitely not as good as Yinglong. His cultivation level is also lower than mine. Isn't this Son of Providence delivering food to me? Could it be that the strength of a Son of Providence is related to the place of birth? Forget it, I won't think about it if I can't figure it out. Maybe there's no Son of Providence here, or maybe there's someone else. Kenma showed up this time because he dug up some ancient treasure. Don't be careless. Your purple mansion avatar was originally a 5 elements divine beast. It only turned into Yinglong after you broke through to Yuanying. This person's Kenma avatar only looks like he just opened his purple mansion. Maybe he'll be able to advance to the nascent soul stage in the future. What should we do next? Should we get involved in the war between the two clans, or should we just stay here and watch the show? Wang Daoyuan took out a level 5 magic artifact, a carved wooden bed, from his spiritual pearl space. He smiled and said, "Of course we're going to work hard and cultivate." Zhou Wan spat lightly. "I'm serious. How are we going to deal with the Seven Stars Alliance and Blood Shark? If there's really a son of Providence and he's allowed to grow, you'll be in danger. There's no rush to get involved in this matter for now. A son of Providence isn't omnipotent. Blood Shark's overall strength is on the weaker side. It'll be difficult for them to win in a short period of time. We can use this time to move some of our clansmen here and establish a branch of the Chamber of Commerce to expand our strength. After we've gained a firm foothold, we'll think of a way to stir up the conflict between the two clans. Chapter 10-11. Even with the Wen clan's size, they didn't dare to interfere in the fight between the two major forces. Whoever dared to stir up trouble might be destroyed by the two forces. No one could get a share of the loot before they were tired. Zhou Wan nodded and asked again, "What should we do now?" Fire Lotus Island is also an important hub for trade. All kinds of materials from the Sea of Seven Stars and the Demon Islands can be found here. In addition, the Sea of Seven Stars is fighting, and a large number of itinerant cultivators have gathered here. It's too risky to go to the Sea of Seven Stars to do business. The Demon Islands itself isn't peaceful. A place like Fire Lotus Island that's big enough and doesn't have any power is naturally popular. There are definitely a lot of people who come here to sell their treasures. The Wen clan isn't done yet, so it's not good for us to return to Beiyuan. Let's do some business here first and buy some refining materials. Beiyuan had only recovered level 5 spirit chi for a few decades, and the main spirit vein in the sky/mountain range was close to level 5 mid-grade. However, there were still very few level 5 refining materials and level 5 spirit herbs. Wang Daoyuan only knew of the blood-fire mulberry tree in the Divine Weapon Pavilion's treasure cauldron mountain. That tree had a history of more than 100,000 years and was originally a high-level spirit plant. With the nourishment of level 5 spirit chi, it could naturally grow to level 5 quickly. Most of the spirit wood and spirit herbs hadn't grown to level 5 yet. Not to mention the metal-type refining materials, it would probably take 200 to 300 years for them to advance. It was different in the Sea of Seven Stars. Level 5 mid-grade refining materials were very common on the market. Level 5 high-grade or peak-level materials required more effort. Zhou Wan asked, "Level 5 magic artifacts and pills take too long. It's good enough to produce one furnace a year. It's too slow to rely on this to earn spirit stones. To open a large store and buy from individual investors, it requires a lot of spirit stones. We can't build a foundation here and will leave soon. It's impossible to spend a lot of effort to open a store here. Don't worry, Lord Shadow Master. I have quite a few level 5 magic tools and medicinal pills in my possession." The doppelganger Xue Quan was now a Tier 5 upper-grade weapon refiner. Using Tier 4 upper-grade weapon refiner materials to refine a Tier 5 lower-grade defensive magic tool was a simple matter. There was also the Avatar Mou, who was a rank 5 alchemist. After learning the alchemy techniques of the human race in the secret realm, he was already a 5th-order high-grade alchemist. The success rate of the 9 Deaths Soul returning pill and the nascent cultivating pill had already exceeded 50%. They haven't been idle these past few years. How many low-grade 5th-tier defensive artifacts and 5th-tier medicinal pills can they sell for? Right now, the best way to make money was to refine pills and forge weapons, which were done by his clones. Since Wang Daoyuan could earn money by lying down, he was naturally too lazy to do it himself. Those soul demon avatars had some attainments in array formations, and now they had learned how to craft talismans. The spirit demon's soul was extremely powerful and he learned these things very quickly. He was already a 4th-rank low-grade talisman master. With so many good things, let's quickly go out and exchange them for spirit stones. There's no hurry. The enemies we'll face in the future may be Blood Shark and the late soul formation cultivators of the Seven Stars Alliance. Although my strength is far superior to early soul formation cultivators like Moon Sungcheon, late soul formation cultivators have already touched the threshold of the Great Ascension stage. I don't know how strong they are either. If we really fight them, I don't have the confidence to win. You won't be able to help against soul formation cultivators. The most important thing now is to increase our cultivation as soon as possible. We still have to hurry up and cultivate the yin-yang art. The sooner you break through to soul formation, the more confident we will be, right? This carved bed is a tier 5 magic tool that I spent a lot of effort to refine. It would be a pity if we don't use it. After living in this small courtyard for more than a month, Li Qin came to visit again. Wang Daoyuan invited him into the room and asked, "Brother Li, what's the matter?" "I'm here to ask for a favor." "Wu brothers, you know that I'm not proficient in all the arts of cultivation. Usually, I rely on hunting demon beasts to earn cultivation resources. Ever since I settled down on the Fire Lotus Island, I found a few other rogue cultivators from the Rare Treasures Island and went out to sea to hunt. It's just that we don't have enough manpower and the demon beasts here are quite fierce. Usually, we can only try our luck near the island. When we were on the Rare Treasures Island, you were also in the early Yuanying stage and your strength was far above mine. Now that you're in the late Yuanying stage, I'm afraid that demon beasts below the tier 6 are no match for you. If you can join our hunting team, we can also go deep into the sea and hunt some stronger demon beasts." Wang Daoyuan really didn't want to do the work of hunting demon beasts. With the space in the spiritual pearl and his clone, he didn't lack spirit stones at all. As a soul formation cultivator, it would be embarrassing if word got out that he had to rely on hunting demon beasts for a living. Besides, he had a lot of demon beast corpses. He had killed some tier 5 demon beasts in the Sunset Abyss and Zhou Wan and his clone had also killed some during the soul formation heavenly tribulation. To tell you the truth, brotherly, I've improved my alchemy and artifact forging skills. I don't plan on going out to sea to hunt demon beasts anymore. Brotherly, I can buy all the demon beast corpses, artifact forging materials, spirit herbs, and the like. If you need pills or artifacts, I can also sell them at a discount. Li Chen's face lit up. Really? To tell you the truth, Brother Wu, it's not easy for us to go out to sea to hunt demon beasts. Especially now that there are more and more rogue cultivators escaping here, there are more and more cultivators hunting demon beasts. For a hunting team like us who don't dare to go deep into the sea, the demon beasts we hunt are too ordinary and can't be sold for a good price. There are a lot of rogue cultivators and most of them make a living by hunting demon beasts. The demand for artifacts and pills is very high and the price is getting higher and higher. As early and middle Yuanying cultivators, we don't have much left from hunting demon beasts other than buying pills and artifacts. If Brother Wu can buy demon beast corpses and sell artifacts and pills, that would be great. That's a good thing. I want to buy demon beast corpses and sell artifacts, but I'm too lazy to open a shop. It's great that Brotherly can come to trade. I'll buy demon beast corpses according to the normal price here. I'll buy as many demon beasts as Brotherly brings. I'll sell all the pills and artifacts to Brotherly at a 20% discount. If you want to order a magic artifact, you just need to give me the forging method. I've also saved a lot of magic artifacts and pills over the years. I'd like to ask Brotherly to introduce some other Dao Yu to do business. If you have materials of tier 5 or tier 6, I can buy them at a high price. I'll do as Brother Wu says. I'll go tell the other brothers this good news. Saying this, he ran out of the house. Wang Daoyuan sighed. What a pity. I'll be busy doing business in the future and won't have much time to cultivate with Lord Shadow Lord. Zhou Wan's face reddened. Who told you to cultivate with me? That's not what you said when we were cultivating. Let's hurry up and cultivate a bit more. Just as he was about to make a move, he suddenly felt some movement in his dantian. He looked inside himself and found that the 5 life-bound magic artifacts in his dantian were all shaking slightly. There was also something similar to a spiritual sense fluctuation. Wang Daoyuan sighed softly. These magic artifacts are really something. The artifact spirit should have taken shape earlier, but it just had to take shape now. It's delaying my cultivation. The artifact spirit has taken shape. Quickly take it out and let me see. I also want to cultivate an artifact spirit, but I don't have a suitable method. Wang Daoyuan took out the 5 life-bound magic artifacts. Now, the magic artifacts didn't need to be activated by his spiritual power, and they were already shining with dazzling light. Judging from the spiritual power fluctuations, these 5 magic artifacts had already broken through to the 6th level. When an artifact spirit took shape, it would absorb all the patterns condensed from spiritual power in the magic artifact. From then on, the artifact spirit and the magic artifact were completely integrated into one. The artifact spirit also had the magic artifact's functions. Wang Daoyuan gently waved his hand, and a ray of light flew out from each of the 5 magic artifacts. The 5 rays of light respectively turned into the 5 divine beasts of the 5 elements. However, they weren't very big. The azure dragon was only 3 feet long, and the other 4 artifact spirits were about the same size. Wang Daoyuan understood their minds and didn't need them to speak to know their situation. These 5 fellows had just taken shape, and their intelligence was about the same as newborn babies. They couldn't speak and didn't know much about the outside world. Most artifact spirits were like this when they were just born. The more they experienced in the future, the more they would slowly grow like humans. For example, ancestor myriad spirits, ancestor Yin Yang, ancestor Ling Long, they had experienced hundreds of thousands of years and many generations of masters before they grew to their current level. They had a natural closeness to Wang Daoyuan and surrounded him. Although their intelligence wasn't high, their effects weren't low. They could increase the power of magic artifacts by several times. Zhou Wan looked very envious. Daoyuan, give me an artifact spirit to play with. Wang Daoyuan controlled the vermilion bird artifact spirit and let it fly to Zhou Wan's side. Zhou Wan had the Scarlet Wan bloodline, so she was relatively close to the vermilion bird. The vermilion bird stopped on her shoulder and rubbed its head against her face. Daoyuan, I also want to learn your 3 treasures tool nurturing technique. This artifact spirit is too fun. It's not difficult. There are still many things left to cultivate the 3 treasures tool nurturing technique. However, it will take a long time to nurture it. I can't help you with this. It's okay. It can be nurtured. My Scarlet Wan Flowing Flames sword has been improved many times, and its power isn't weak. However, it will take at least 4 or 5 years to nurture an artifact spirit. Your 3 treasures tool nurturing technique is faster. Although it consumes more spiritual power, it's not good to have you. Alright, give me the current refining method of the Scarlet Wan Flowing Flames sword. The artifact spirit of the 3 treasures tool nurturing technique needs to be more compatible with the artifact. It will be more convenient to fuse with it in the future. Zhou Wan took out a few pieces of beast parchment. It's all here. Although the Scarlet Wan Flowing Flames sword was already a high-grade 5th stage artifact, its pattern was relatively simple among artifacts of the same stage. This way, it would be easier to inscribe inscriptions. After Wang Daoyuan looked through it, he took out a 3-inch high-grade 5th stage fire essence from the Spirit Pearl space. This was the medium for nurturing an artifact spirit. It needed to be inscribed with many inscriptions. These inscriptions were similar to pill, tool, and talisman array inscriptions, but they were not exactly the same. They were law inscriptions. Law inscriptions were the manifestation of laws. Pill, tool, and talisman array inscriptions were all evolved from law inscriptions. Just these inscriptions alone could replace pill, tool, and talisman array inscriptions. However, law inscriptions were broad but not refined. They could do anything, but they were not proficient in anything. In terms of refining artifacts, their effects were inferior to tool patterns. Otherwise, there would be no need to separate pill, tool, and talisman array inscriptions. Only in the puppet core and the flying warship spiritual power conversion device, where tool patterns were not up to the task, would law inscriptions be used. In order to master law inscriptions, one's divine sense had to be very high. One needed to be at least in the soul formation stage. Wang Daoyuan's divine sense stage was enough. However, he had been busy accompanying Zhou Wan to cultivate and did not have the time to comprehend these things. Chapter 10-12. The Three Treasures tool nurturing technique used a large number of nomological inscriptions. Now that he was refining the tool spirit carrier, he could spend some time learning about nomological inscriptions. The Valley of Beasts had produced many almighty figures, so there were naturally such inheritances. Wang Daoyuan flipped through the inheritance of nomological inscriptions and comprehended the nomological inscriptions according to the contents of the inheritance. Back then, perfected Lei Yen had said that there was a rumor in the ancient times that if one understood all four paths, they could see the great Tao. If he didn't understand all four paths, it would be a bit strenuous to learn these nomological inscriptions. Wang Daoyuan's alchemy, smithing, and talisman arrays had all reached the upper grade of the 5th level. He was also a cultivator with 5 spiritual roots and had grasped the laws of the 5 elements. The most commonly used nomological inscriptions were the laws of the 5 elements. With these foundations, it was very easy to grasp the basic nomological inscriptions. The last time he refined 5 tool spirit carriers, it only took half a year. This time, he only refined 1, but it took him an entire year. This year wasn't wasted. He had more or less comprehended all the nomological inscriptions in the Three Treasures tool nurturing technique. After comprehending the commonly used nomological inscriptions, he could spend some time to modify the spiritual power conversion device of the flying ship. The structure of this thing was too complicated. The time spent refining a flying warship, from the core to the outer shell, couldn't even compare to a spiritual power conversion device. This thing needed spiritual power to carry the power of laws. Alchemy, smithing, and talisman array inscriptions couldn't have this function, so he could only use nomological inscriptions. When he had time in the future, he could fully comprehend all the inscriptions on the spiritual power conversion device and make some modifications. There were too many ways to modify this thing. After all the spiritual power needed by the flying warship had to go through this device. He could try to save spiritual power or increase the speed. After refining the tool spirit carrier, Wang Daoyuan left the refining room and went to the bedroom. Lord Shadow Master, the tool spirit carrier has been refined. Next, you have to use your essence, energy, and spirit to fill the carrier. After that, you have to fuse your understanding of the laws and the divine charm of the Scarlet One into it. When the carrier turns into a ball of energy, this energy will be the embryonic form of the tool spirit. Next, you have to absorb it into the Purple Mansion phenomenon and Dharma artifacts to nurture it. When it becomes a true tool spirit, that will depend on your ability. Zhou Wan took the artifact spirit carrier and began to inject energy into it. Wang Daoyuan was a little unhappy. I've been working hard for a year. Aren't there any rewards? Zhou Wan shot him a glance. Over the past year, I've been the one who's been helping you deal with the demon beast corpses and artifact forging materials, as well as the magical tools and medicinal pills you've bought. I don't even have time to cultivate, and you still have the nerve to ask me for a reward. Lord Shadow Master, you've worked hard. Do you want me to reward you? Just as he was about to make his move, someone knocked on the door. Scanning the area with his divine perception, he discovered that there were 6 people at the entrance. One of them was Li Chen. Although they had ruined his plans, he reluctantly let them off for the sake of the spirit stones. Arriving at the entrance, he cupped his hands towards Dao Yu and asked, "Brother Li, why are there so many Dao Yu here this time?" Li Chen didn't look around. Since I promised to introduce business to the Wu brothers, I naturally can't go back on my word. From the looks of it, he had something to say and was worried about leaking information. Wang Daoyuan immediately understood. Brother Li and Dao Yu, please come inside. The others had lower cultivations, early and mid-stage yuanying, so they naturally didn't dare to put on airs in front of Wang Daoyuan. One of them, a mid-stage yuanying cultivator with a long beard, cupped his hands and said, "Wu Dao Yu is too polite. I heard that your wife is in the room. They're all injured, so let's not disturb them. Brother Li and I can go in together. The rest of you can wait at the door." The group of 6 was divided into 2 factions. Li Chen and the long-bearded cultivator were the leaders of the 2 factions. The remaining 4 were all early yuanying cultivators. Judging from their positions, they should be subordinates of Li Chen and the long-bearded cultivator. Usually, Li Chen would come here alone to sell demon beasts and other materials, as well as to purchase magic tools and pills. But now, 6 of them had come, and 4 of them didn't want to come in. Logically speaking, these 4 didn't need to come at all. The 2 leaders could have just come. But they had come, and they were injured. Perhaps Li Chen and the long-bearded cultivator were worried that they would leak the information if he wasn't here. It seemed like they wanted to talk about something important. Wang Daoyuan nodded. No problem. Daoyu, please come with me. With that, he led the 2 to the east wing of the courtyard. The courtyard's formation was fully activated. Fellow Taoists, feel free to speak your mind. The 2 of them each took out a jade bottle. Li Chen smiled and said, "This is one of our gains from this trip. Wu brothers, please take a look." Wang Daoyuan took the 2 jade bottles and opened them to take a look. The 2 jade bottles were spatial magic tools. The contents were exactly the same, large amounts of seawater. However, the seawater was different. It contained dense spiritual power. Moreover, the spiritual power wasn't evenly distributed. Some of the seawater's spiritual power was extremely strong, reaching the peak of stage 5. Most of the seawater's spiritual power was around mid-stage stage 4. Most of the seawater nearby had spiritual power of this level. The seawater with 2 different types of spiritual power could coexist instead of fusing with each other. It was like pouring half a basin of hot water into half a basin of cold water. The result should be a basin of warm water. However, the situation in the 2 jade bottles was that the hot water had gathered into a few clumps, while the surrounding water was still cold. The 2 didn't fuse at all. Wang Daoyuan had never seen such a situation before. He hurriedly had his doppelganger flip through the Valley of Beasts' ancient records about water to find a similar situation. Seeing that he had noticed something strange, Li Chen continued, "Chen Yin, Daoyu, and I led 4 early-stage Yuanian cultivators into the sea to hunt for demonic beasts. We chased after a demonic beast and chased it into the depths of the sea. That demonic beast hid in a place with an undercurrent. The water in the undercurrent contains dense spiritual power. The demonic beast fled into the source of the undercurrent. We wanted to chase after it, but we discovered that there were several stage 5 demonic beasts inside, including 2 high-stage stage 5 demonic beasts. With the strength of the 6 of us, we weren't a match for those demonic beasts. We discovered that the spiritual power in the undercurrent was extremely dense and wouldn't dissipate. We felt that we could sell it for some spirit stones, so we brought some back. After we came ashore, we discovered that there was something strange about the seawater. There must be a reason for this abnormality. The undercurrent was so strange. There might be some treasure hidden in the source of the undercurrent. We wanted to find a few experts to explore the sea together. The only experts I know are the Wu brothers." Wang Daoyuan nodded. "A high-stage stage 5 demonic beast is nothing to me. I can kill it with a wave of my hand." After he finished speaking, he took out a clump of water with dense spiritual power and compressed it with his consciousness and spiritual power. Soon, the clump of water with dense spiritual power was divided into 2 parts. One part had thinner spiritual power, while the other had denser spiritual power. Wang Daoyuan took out the part with dense spiritual power and continued to compress it. The water was again divided into 2 parts with different spiritual power. The part with dense spiritual power had already reached the level of a stage 6 spirit spring. "This thing is really extraordinary. I can go down with you. There's no need to find other people. I can deal with a dozen stage 5 demonic beasts by myself. You go back and prepare. When you're ready, come find me and we'll go down together." Hearing this, Li Chen and Chen Yin were overjoyed. Chen Yin hurriedly said, "Thank you Wu Daoyu. The other brothers are injured and need to rest for a period of time. We'll set off in about a month. I plan to buy some magical tools and pills. When we go into the sea, we'll have a better chance." He reported some pills and magical tools. Wang Daoyuan had a lot of these in his hands, so he casually gave them to him. Then the two took the 4 people outside and left together. This business earned them a few thousand high-stage spirit stones. Returning to the main room, Zhou Wan asked, "What were you talking about that was so mysterious that you even opened the soundproof formation in the room?" Wang Daoyuan took out the ball of water and used his spiritual sense and spiritual power to compress it. The water was divided into 2 parts again. Zhou Wan was stunned. After thinking for a long time, she said, "This is spirit spring water derived from spirit water. After coming into contact with a large amount of ordinary water, it will not directly merge with it. Instead, it will absorb ordinary water and increase its own volume. When the spirit spring water is thin enough and loses its original characteristics, it will completely merge with ordinary water. Before merging, as long as you deliberately compress it, you can squeeze out ordinary water." Where did this seawater come from? If we follow it, we should be able to find the location of the spirit water. Wang Daoyuan was somewhat surprised. "You know this thing? Are you sure?" Zhou Wan had a face full of pride. "Of course. Although the Blood Shadow's martial arts and secret techniques are not strong, they are still in the field of intelligence. In terms of collecting strange stories, the 5 top forces of the past added together could not compare to the Blood Shadow. There are records of the Blood Shadow's records about the spirit water. In the past, one of the ancestors of the Blood Shadow explored the West Sea and encountered the spirit water. Unfortunately, he was obstructed by demonic beasts and could only give up after discovering the spirit water. Later on, the spirit qi in Beiyuan became weaker and weaker. Some of the spirit springs, rivers, lakes, and seas could no longer produce spirit water. At this time, Wang Daoyuan's clone had also flipped through the records about the spirit water. The spirit spring water derived from the spirit water did indeed have similar characteristics. Then it should be correct. The spirit spring water derived from the spirit water already has such dense spirit qi. The real spirit water should be of a higher grade. At the very least, it should be level 6 spirit water. With this thing, there will be an endless supply of level 6 spirit spring water. Even if it is not used to fight enemies, it is still very good to be used to assist cultivation or concoct pills. If placed in a secret realm, it can also be used to water spirit plants. So you are saying that you want to go into the sea again? Wang Daoyuan nodded. Such a good thing. If I don't give it a try, I will not be satisfied. Then I will go with you. The danger here is far less than the setting sun abyss. Even if we are attacked by level 6 demonic beasts, with your strength, you can protect me. I have no objections, but there may be level 6 demonic beasts lurking around the level 6 spirit water. Once we encounter one, I may not be able to protect you from the bottom of the sea. The space here is stable, and there are no spatial cracks for you to hide in. I have my own means of self-protection. Even if I encounter a level 6 demonic beast, I will not be easily taken down. It may be a bit strenuous to help you, but I will have no problem protecting myself. Don't worry. Wang Daoyuan did not refuse. Zhou Wan had brought a lot of good things. If they encountered any problems, they might be of great help. There were many wandering cultivators here, and there might be some hidden experts. If he let her continue to stay here, he would not be at ease. All right, I will take you with me. But you must follow me closely. If you encounter a demonic beast that is difficult to deal with, immediately enter my portable secret realm. Chapter 10:13. Zhou Wan nodded. Don't worry, I know what to do. I won't cause you any trouble at a critical moment. Lord Shadow Lord, you've consumed a lot of your spirit vessel. Do you want me to help you recover your spirit power? Zhou Wan nodded, and Wang Daoyuan immediately got to work. He had spent the past year comprehending law inscriptions, which had delayed his cultivation. He had to make the best use of his time. A month passed quickly, and Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan were ready. Li Chen and Chen Yin brought 4 early-stage Yuanian cultivators to the courtyard. Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan walked out and activated the formation. Brotherly, Chen Daoyu, let's go together. What do you think? Li Chen smiled. Sister-in-law is also a late-stage Yuanian cultivator. Even though she's a fire-type cultivator and isn't good at fighting in the sea, she's still stronger than us. With the help of 2 late-stage Yuanian cultivators, we'll have a better chance. Chen Yin also smiled apologetically at the side. Fellow Daoist Li is right. With the help of 2 experts, our chances of success will be greater. Let's not waste any time and go together. Wang Daoyuan couldn't wait any longer, so he didn't have any objections. Li Chen took out a high-grade 4th-grade flying boat and took everyone north. They flew a few thousand kilometers north of the Fire Lotus Island and turned west. They took a big detour and came to a place more than 10,000 kilometers south of the island. The flying boat stopped above a dark sea. Li Chen said, "There's a huge canyon at the bottom of this sea. The sea is very deep. Also, there are often undercurrents in the canyon. 5th-grade demon beasts are common, and 6th-grade demon beasts can be seen sometimes. Therefore, no one dares to hunt demon beasts here. We came here last time because we paid a great price to catch that demon beast. If it escaped, we would have lost everything." This was the place where he had entered the sea the last time. There's no reference at sea, and we don't have the confidence to directly find the undercurrent. We can only enter the sea from here and follow the marks left behind last time. Wang Daoyuan nodded. Let's go down here. Li Chen and Chen Yin led the way while the rest followed closely behind. After diving more than 50,000 feet into the sea, they arrived at a canyon. The canyon ran from east to west, and both sides were flat seabed. A huge rift had been forcefully created. After entering the canyon, the pressure suddenly increased, and it also became much darker. Fortunately, there were many glowing corals and aquatic plants here, so they could see things clearly. Li Chen and Chen Yin took the lead and swam eastward. In order to prevent the demonic beasts from launching a sneak attack, Wang Daoyuan had already activated the soul-chasing compass. There were many forks in this canyon. After swimming for more than 1,000 miles to the east, a small fork appeared in front of them. Li Chen swam over and groped among the rocks at the fork. It's this fork in the road. I found the mark left behind back then. Follow me. After saying that, he swam towards the fork. After a few more forks, Wang Daoyuan's divine sense had already detected that there was abundant spiritual qi and rapidly flowing seawater more than 10 miles away. Li Chen and Chen Yin also felt it. Li Chen even sent a voice transmission to Wang Daoyuan. The undercurrent is just ahead. As long as we go against the current, we can find the source of the undercurrent. There shouldn't be any danger here. The commotion last time wasn't small, but it didn't attract other demonic beasts. Before he finished speaking, Wang Daoyuan's soul-chasing compass found a blue light spot. This demonic beast should have discovered them and swam straight towards them from the east. You were lucky last time. This time, you won't be so lucky. There's a rank 5 demonic beast coming from the east. It's more than 200 miles away from here. Chen Yin and the others were a little surprised. After all, divine sense couldn't explore too far in the deep sea. They could only explore a distance of more than 20 miles. Wang Daoyuan's divine sense was stronger than theirs, but it was impossible for him to see more than 100 miles away. Although Chen Yin didn't dare to question it openly, he still said, "This place is in the bottom of the sea. It seriously affects divine sense exploration. It's unlikely that you can discover something more than 200 miles away, right?" On the contrary, Li Chen believed in Wang Daoyuan without a doubt. He immediately took out his magic tool and was ready to attack at any time. Wang Daoyuan didn't take it seriously. Whether there are demonic beasts or not, we'll know in a while. Brotherly, don't worry. As long as you're prepared, this evil beast may not dare to come. A rank 5 demonic beast is worth at least 3,000 to 4,000 high-grade spirit stones. Pretend as if nothing happened and continue to swim forward. After more than 100 breaths, a strangely shaped snake swam over. This guy's head was like a cow's, but it had no horns. Its body was like a snake, covered in hard scales, and it had a three-fingered claw. Upon seeing this thing, Qin Yin's expression changed. This is a Kuei dragon, and it's a rank 5 high-grade one. We're in trouble. Hearing this, Li Chen and the others prepared to flee for their lives. Wang Daoyuan had never heard of this kind of demonic beast, but now wasn't the time to ask. A rank 5 high-grade demonic beast, even if it was a purebred primordial beast, was just a piece of cake. In order to minimize the commotion, Wang Daoyuan activated his divine ability domain. Then, 5 Kuei water divine thunders appeared out of thin air and attacked the Kuei dragon. In order to hide his strength, he didn't use the power of the soul formation stage. He had only deduced the Kuei water divine thunders to the rank 5 level. In addition to suppressing his power, the power he displayed was comparable to a peak Yuanian cultivator. This Kuei dragon was also quite extraordinary. A layer of water-type protective light barrier appeared on his body, and there were flashes of lightning within it. The 5 Kuei water divine thunders smashed onto the light barrier and were actually blocked. If it was an ordinary opponent, most of the power of the Kuei water divine thunders would have directly passed through the protective light barrier and smashed into him. But in front of this Kuei dragon, all of the power of the Kuei water divine thunders was blocked by the protective light barrier. Of course, the Kuei dragon didn't have it easy either. His protective light barrier became extremely dim, as if it would collapse at any time. Wang Daoyuan didn't bother to waste time. 30 Kuei water divine thunders appeared in an instant and smashed towards the Kuei dragon at the same time. This kind of method couldn't be blocked by opponents without a powerful divine ability. However, the Kuei dragon's method wasn't weak. A huge whirlpool of lightning appeared around him. The 30 Kuei water divine thunders hit it, but they couldn't break through the whirlpool. Moreover, the whirlpool was still expanding. Li Chen and the others turned pale with fright. They wanted to make a fortune, but they encountered such a strong enemy. Wang Daoyuan had an indifferent look. If he didn't want to expose his strength, no matter how powerful this whirlpool was, it would be a matter of a sword. He continuously condensed Kuei water divine thunders. Every 3 breaths, there would be 30 Kuei water divine thunders smashing into it. This Kuei dragon was really not ordinary. This whirlpool seemed to be able to transfer most of the power of the Kuei water divine thunders into the sea. The whirlpool itself didn't bear much power. The Kuei water divine thunders could only suppress the expansion of the whirlpool, but couldn't directly break it. No matter what method was used, it was impossible to not pay a price. The power transfer must be like this. If it kept on, the one who couldn't bear it would definitely be this Kuei dragon. After 30 breaths, Wang Daoyuan shot out more than 300 Kuei water divine thunders. The whirlpool finally couldn't hold on and collapsed. After the Kuei dragon blocked the last wave of Kuei water divine thunders with all his strength, he turned around and fled to the east. Before he could escape far, a few Kuei water divine thunders appeared in front of him. This Kuei dragon's spiritual power had basically been exhausted and had no ability to resist. In addition, these few Kuei water divine thunders appeared almost in front of his eyes. It was too late to dodge. Only a few muffled sounds were heard. The Kuei dragon lost his life. The power of the space domain lay in this. With the help of the domain spell, this spell could appear anywhere out of thin air. If one was not prepared, they could be killed at any time. Wang Daoyuan condensed a water dragon, rolled the Kuei dragon's body over, and put it into the space of the spiritual pearl. Zhou Wan had an indifferent look on her face. She was even in the mood to admire the coral on the side. Li Chen, Chen Yin and the others were shocked. A Kuei dragon died just like that. Wang Daoyuan asked, "This Kuei dragon is quite powerful. It seems to have 2 magical powers, thunder and water. What is its origin?" Chen Yin respectfully replied, "There is a legend in the Qixing Si Shuxin community. In ancient times, this place was ruled by a strange beast called Kuei. This thing can control thunder and lightning, but it looks quite strange. Some look like cows, some look like dragons, and they only have one claw or hoof. Now, the legendary Kuei can no longer be seen, but they left behind a lot of bloodlines. The Kuei dragon is the descendant of Kuei and Jiao dragon, and has both magical powers. Until now, the Kuei dragon is still one of the overlords of the Sea of Seven Stars. It's just that there are few of them, and human cultivators rarely see them. But in terms of strength, they definitely don't lose to semi-divine beasts. Especially this thunder-controlling technique, its power in the sea is too great. Wang Daoyuan nodded. Let's continue forward. Li Chen and the others instantly gained courage and rushed to lead the way. Soon, they arrived next to the undercurrent. The water in the undercurrent indeed contained extremely rich spiritual power, and it was incompatible with the surrounding seawater. Everyone followed the undercurrent upstream. The further upstream they went, the smaller the undercurrent became, and the more spiritual power it contained. This was also in line with the spiritual spring water's characteristics of absorbing ordinary water and diluting it. The spiritual spring water was much denser than ordinary water, and it wouldn't float up, only flowing at the bottom of the sea. They didn't encounter any other demonic beasts on the way, and soon they arrived at the foot of a tall sea mountain. The undercurrent flowed from a cave at the foot of the sea mountain. Wu brothers, this cave leads to a basin, and there are many demonic beasts roaming above. If we want to go in, we can only go through this cave. But there are also many demonic beasts in the basin. Last time, we detected the aura of demonic beasts, so we didn't dare to go in. Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan walked in front and directly entered the cave. The cave was relatively spacious, only a few dozen kilometers long. Soon, everyone arrived at the basin. There was a basin several hundred kilometers in diameter, and it was surrounded by mountains. Many corals and spiritual plants grew in the basin, and they emitted a dim light, attracting many low-level demonic beasts. A large number of light spots appeared on Wang Daoyuan's soul-chasing compass. Most of the light spots were scarlet and orange, which meant they were first and second-ranked demonic beasts. But there were also 3 cyan light spots, and they were quite bright. They should be relatively strong 5th-ranked demonic beasts. The cave was located at the lowest point in the basin, so the spiritual spring water flowed out from there. Everyone tried their best to conceal their aura, and followed the undercurrent. Soon, they arrived at a rock wall, and the undercurrent flowed out from a crack in the wall. The real spiritual water should be inside. If they wanted to get it, it would take some effort. Just as Wang Daoyuan was about to make a move, a powerful pressure fell from above the basin. Who are you to dare to kill my grandson? You don't put my Kuei dragon clan in your eyes. Chapter 10:14. The Kuei dragon was a lightning-type demon beast. Since the Kuei dragon had inherited the Kuei dragon's lightning-type divine ability, its roar also contained a soul-stirring power. The demon beasts in the basin began to flee in all directions. Li Chen and the others were also stunned. The soul-chasing compass in Wang Daoyuan's Sea of Consciousness still hadn't shown any blue light, which meant that the Kuei dragon was still 300 miles away. This beast is still a few hundred miles away from here. Do you want to run away or stay here and watch? Let me say this first, I'm not confident that I can protect you when I fight the rank 6 Kuei dragon. The others were still in a daze. They were a little surprised to hear Wang Daoyuan say this. Li Chen asked, Wu brothers, are you saying that you want to fight the Kuei dragon? I know you're strong, but that Kuei dragon is no ordinary demon beast. It has the bloodline of the Kuei dragon and the semi-divine flood dragon. Not only are the two bloodlines not in conflict, but they also complement each other. The Kuei dragon is much stronger than the semi-divine flood dragon. They had never seen the strength of a rank 6 demon beast. With their speed, there was no way they could escape from the rank 6 Kuei dragon. Wang Daoyuan was a little impatient. If you don't want to leave, then stay here and watch. I'm confident that I can protect myself and my Dao partner, but I'm not sure I can protect you. If you want to live or die, do as you please. Li Chen and the others didn't dare to dawdle. They all used their escape techniques and fled back the way they came. While speaking, he didn't stay idle. After saying this, he ignored them. He spread out his divine ability domain and soon discovered that there was an extremely strong fluctuation of spiritual power 400 miles to the east. The Kuei dragon was no fool. He immediately sensed that something was wrong as soon as he fell into the divine ability domain. He roared angrily, and a huge water ball wrapped in lightning flew towards the basin. The lightning traveled through the water, making rumbling sounds. Ever since he reached the soul formation stage, his divine ability domain had changed a lot. At this moment, he unleashed the power of his divine ability to the extreme. All the spiritual energy within 1,000 miles converged towards the east. Wang Daoyuan was in control of all the spiritual energy within the divine ability domain, including the spells cast by the enemy. At the same time, the water ball that Kuei Dragon spat out was constantly drawing out spiritual energy. When Kuei Dragon's spell was still dozens of miles away from Wang Daoyuan, its spiritual power was exhausted. Another roar came from afar. "You killed my grandson? Which clan are you from? Why did you bully the weak and kill a descendant of my Kuei Dragon clan?" Wang Daoyuan did not reply. He only said to Zhou Wan, "Lord Shadow Master, this old loach is not weak. If we fight later, I'm afraid I can't protect you. Hide in my mystic realm first. I've planted many precious spirit plants in there. Don't touch them. If you're bored, you can find some books to read and bully Yun-Yi." After saying that, he put Zhou Wan into the space of the spiritual pearl. Now, he was the only one who needed to face the 6th rank Kuei dragon. He could fight without restraint. The Kuei Water Divine Thunder, Water Dragon technique, and other techniques had only been deduced to the 5th rank. They were not powerful enough to deal with the 6th rank Kuei dragon. After reaching the soul formation stage, he had never fought with an opponent of the same level. This Kuei dragon was strong enough and this place was well hidden. It was a good opportunity to practice. He took out the Sword of Origin Restoration and waited for the Kuei dragon in the basin. After a dozen seconds, the Kuei dragon arrived at the small basin. This guy looked similar to the Kuei Jiao from before, except that he had an extra horn that wasn't too long on his head. Judging from the spiritual energy fluctuations, he should be about to reach the middle stage of the soul formation stage. Wang Daoyuan didn't hide his strength anymore. He exuded the aura of a soul formation stage cultivator. The Kuei dragon glanced at him and snorted. "You're a human soul formation stage cultivator. You killed a direct descendant of the Kuei dragon clan in the sea. Are you looking down on the demon clan? The demon clan often harasses the islands where humans live. Are you looking down on the human race? Don't talk nonsense. I killed your grandson. I came to the sea to look for treasures, but he came to sneak up on me. If a nascent soul realm human cultivator were to launch a sneak attack on you, would you spare his life? I stayed here because I want to fight with you. Make your move." The Kuei dragon shouted angrily, arrogant. After saying that, a blue lightning bolt struck over. Lightning techniques couldn't be taken directly. Wang Daoyuan turned into a silver light and dodged the attack. He also slashed out a sword aura that went straight for the Kuei dragon's head. The Kuei Jiao's ability to control lightning was extremely strong. The lightning that he had shot out earlier turned around and blocked the sword light. Wang Daoyuan was only doing it casually. This sword aura only cut the lightning bolt and didn't hurt the Kuei dragon. The sword of essence restoring in his hand split into 10 sword shadows that circled around him. This Kuei dragon was not weak. He was very suitable for practice. After reaching the soul formation stage, he spent most of his energy on cultivating with Zhou Wan. He didn't have time to deduce many spells. Now that he was fighting a strong enemy, it was not suitable to use those spells that he wasn't very familiar with. Only the sword shadow divine light technique and the demon slaying sword could be used. A sword shadow flew out and pointed at the Kuei dragon's forehead. The Kuei dragon opened his mouth and spat out a thunderball. It blocked the sword shadow and the two were annihilated. Wang Daoyuan thought to himself, this guy is really not weak. My sword's shadow has about 70% of the power of the Sword of Essence Restoring. It was neutralized so easily. I have also fought with human cultivators. There are many sword cultivators among them. You should also be a sword cultivator. The power in your attack should be the sword intent of you humans. Your sword intent is very strange. Others only have one kind of sword intent, but you have many. This Kuei dragon was very knowledgeable. He recognized the difference in the Sword of Essence Restoring. It doesn't matter what the sword intent is. What matters is that I can kill you. Kid, you are arrogant. I have lived for more than 10,000 years and have never seen a human cultivator who can kill me. I'll let you, little human kid, know the true power of our Kuei Jiao clan. After saying that, he raised his head and let out a dragon roar. A whirlpool appeared around his body. This method was similar to the Kuei dragon that he killed before, but it was much more powerful. Under the stirring of the whirlpool, the corals in the basin kept making kacha sounds. The broken corals were constantly being sucked into the whirlpool. Even the surrounding cliffs were constantly being sucked in. Wang Daoyuan was the least afraid of this kind of spell that borrowed external force and slowly accumulated power. He used the magical domain to absorb all the spiritual power in the nearby seawater. The spiritual power within 1,000 miles was under his control. If the Kuei dragon wanted to expand the whirlpool, he could only consume his own spiritual power. To control a large amount of seawater and exert an extremely strong power, no matter how much spiritual power he had, it would not be enough. He could only withdraw the whirlpool. The magical domain is indeed powerful. With just this method of controlling spiritual power, spells that rely on external spiritual power are useless in front of you. I can't believe that my Kuei dragon clan lost to a human in the aspect of controlling water. After saying that, his body expanded dozens of times, turning into a giant flood dragon that was thousands of feet long. The claws under his body were even more exaggerated. They were instantly enlarged 100 times. Lightning flashed in the dragon claws, condensing into a blue thunder bead. There were also streaks of lightning on the dragon body converging to the dragon claws, and the thunder bead continued to grow. Thunder attribute spells were not easy to deal with in the sea. Even if the frontal attack was avoided, the thunder attribute attack would spread in the surrounding seawater, and the residual power could hurt people. As long as one was hurt by the thunder attribute attack, paralysis was inevitable. At that time, the Kuei dragon's next move would be difficult to deal with. Wang Daoyuan did not intend to fight head-on and summoned the Xian cauldron. He asked, "Can you withstand this guy's attack?" "Master, don't worry. The Xian cauldron was once a 7th-level magic weapon. Below the Mahayana realm, it can't pose too much of a threat to me." Wang Daoyuan was relieved. It was said that the strength of the Kuei dragon was on 1 foot. As long as the Xian cauldron could withstand this attack, the Kuei dragon would be at his wit's end. To be safe, Wang Daoyuan was still using the power of the domain to constantly weaken the thunderball in the dragon claws. The Kuei dragon saw that the spiritual power in the thunderball was constantly draining, and did not dare to delay any longer. He threw out the thunderball that was more than 3 feet in diameter. The thunder suddenly lit up the entire basin, and the seawater around the thunderball was ignited by the huge energy contained in it. Seeing that Wang Daoyuan did not dodge at all, the Kuei dragon looked proud. But the next scene stunned him. He saw that the ancient cauldron released a suction force and directly swallowed the thunderball. Then there was a muffled sound from the cauldron, and the Kuei dragon could no longer sense the thunderball. This was his full-strength attack, and it was broken just like that. He did not dare to fight with Wang Daoyuan again. His body instantly shrank, turned into a blue light, and escaped hundreds of miles away. Wang Daoyuan did not panic. The laws that he had comprehended in the soul formation mental demon tribulation were not only the 5 elements laws. With a thought, the range of the divine power domain quickly shrank. After a few breaths, the Kuei dragon's head hit the edge of the divine power domain. His escape technique was already an arrow at the end of its flight under Wang Daoyuan's interference. This collision actually did not break out, but instead bounced back. The domain divine power combined with the spatial laws formed a space similar to a secret realm. The opponent in the domain was fighting against the power of the entire domain. Without overwhelming strength, there was no possibility of winning. It was just that this space was still very simple. Whether it was strength or function, it was far inferior to a real secret realm. But it was no problem to use it to bind the opponent. Spatial laws? Once you enter my domain, you will either defeat me or die here. The Kuei dragon's dragon claw under him grew bigger again and slapped toward the edge of the domain. Wang Daoyuan expanded the range of the domain again and moved the boundary dozens of miles away. The Kuei dragon's claw completely missed. 10 sword shadows attacked, but the Kuei dragon waved his dragon claw and shattered all the sword shadows. The Kuei dragon's strength was indeed beyond Wang Daoyuan's expectations. With the power of his Thunder Ball, if not for the Xian Cauldron, he would have to use the Yinglong Demon Slayer sword to take it head-on. Even if he could kill the Kuei dragon, he would have to pay a heavy price. Without the spatial laws, it would be difficult to keep him even if he defeated him. You have no hope of escaping. If you serve me as your master, I can let you live. Maybe I can even help you cultivate to the 7th level in the future. The Kuei dragon had the bloodline of an ancient beast and a divine beast, so it was natural for him to be arrogant. Bah, you human brat, are you worthy of my Kuei dragon clan's submission? Since I can't beat you and can't escape, I will trade my life for yours. After that, the spiritual power in his body began to disappear. He wanted to gather all his spiritual power into the pseudo-dragon ball and then detonate it. This was the deep sea, and the destructive power of self-destruction was much stronger than on land. He could escape by hiding in the space of the spirit pearl, but the Kuei dragon's body and the pseudo-dragon ball would be destroyed. Chapter 10-15. The Rank 6 Kuei dragon's bones and scales were excellent Rank 6 refining materials. The scales could be used to refine defensive artifacts. The bones had many uses. Even a rib could be refined into a long sword. The horn and pseudo-dragon ball were even more valuable. They were rare treasures. Wang Daoyuan had very few Rank 6 refining materials. He only had a piece of dazzling sun gold. Such a huge Kuei Jiao, it would be a waste to let it self-destruct. With a thought, the Xian Cauldron immediately flew over and released a suppressive force to suppress the flow of spiritual power in the Kuei dragon's body. Although the Xian Cauldron was powerful, it was only Rank 6 mid-grade. The Kuei dragon's cultivation was at Rank 6 low-grade, but he was already prepared to die. The Xian Cauldron's own power was not enough to subdue him. To quickly finish off the Kuei dragon, he could only rely on Yinglong's demon-slaying sword. He summoned his 5 natal artifacts and fused them into Yinglong's demon-slaying sword. The 5 artifact spirits fused into Yinglong and fused into the sword. With the artifact spirits, there was no need for Yinglong's avatar to personally take action. The artifact spirits grew in Yinglong's avatar and could directly mobilize its power. After injecting a large amount of spiritual power, Yinglong's demon-slaying sword went straight for the Kuei dragon's head. Wang Daoyuan also controlled the seawater to make room for Yinglong's demon-slaying sword to prevent the seawater from consuming the spiritual power in the sword. If he had a deeper understanding of the spatial laws, he could make the sword jump through space. After flying out of his hand, he could directly appear on top of the Kuei dragon's head. At this time, the Kuei dragon's spiritual power had already gathered in the pseudo-dragon ball. With the suppression of the Xian Cauldron above, it was very difficult to mobilize spiritual power to block this sword. However, all the spiritual power in his body was mobilized when he self-destructed. It was still very difficult for ordinary methods to break through his defense. Kuei dragon had no choice but to dodge the attack. He hoped that his scales were tough enough to withstand the fatal blow. Under Wang Daoyuan's control, Yinglong's demon's lair sword landed on Kuei dragon's neck. Unfortunately, this Kuei dragon's neck was not as hard as Wang Daoyuan's sword. A bright yellow light flashed by, and a huge head rolled down. Without the control of his head, the Kuei dragon lost control of his spiritual energy and could no longer self-destruct. Wang Daoyuan put Kuei dragon's body into the space of the spiritual pearl and handed it over to his doppelganger to deal with. At the same time, he also brought Zhou Wan out. As soon as Zhou Wan came out, she asked, "It took you so long to solve it. Are you hurt?" Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "How long did it take?" "When I dealt with you, it was much more difficult." Zhou Wan pretended to hit him, but Wang Daoyuan hurriedly changed the topic. "If there's something, let's talk about it when we get back. Don't forget what we came here for. Now that there are no more monsters here, let's go over there and see what the spiritual water is." The two of them came to the rock wall where the spiritual water was seeping out. After the destruction of the battle, this place was already full of cracks. Wang Daoyuan's right hand turned into a dragon claw and hammered a few times on the rock wall. Large and small stones began to fall off. After half a cup of tea's time, a stone room about 6 meters in diameter appeared in front of them. On the ground of the stone room was a spring, which was still emitting special spiritual water. The spiritual water should be inside the spring. Wang Daoyuan used the water dragon technique, and a black dragon drilled into the spring. Soon, it flew out with a fist-sized ball of water in its mouth. This ball of water was constantly absorbing the surrounding spiritual energy and releasing extremely rich spiritual water. Wang Daoyuan drained the surrounding spiritual energy, and no more spiritual water gushed out from the ball of water. At this time, he could see the ball of water clearly. This thing was transparent, without a trace of impurity. It contained pure water spiritual energy, and should be a 6th-level low-grade spiritual water. As for the name of this spiritual water, Wang Daoyuan really didn't know. "Shadow Lord, do you know the name of this spiritual water? Inject water spiritual energy into this spiritual water, and I'll see what's going on." Wang Daoyuan did as he was told, and a large amount of spiritual water gushed out from the ball of water. The more water spiritual energy was injected, the more spiritual water gushed out. Moreover, there seemed to be no upper limit to the amount of spiritual water gushing out. Wang Daoyuan was a little surprised. "This spiritual water is not ordinary." Zhou Wan nodded. "I checked some ancient books about spiritual water in your portable secret realm. The Valley of Beasts is worthy of being called a powerful force, and there are many records about all kinds of rare treasures. This spiritual water should be immeasurable true water, and only the sea can nurture such spiritual water. It is an extremely pure spiritual water, and doesn't have any special functions. The only extraordinary thing is the amount of water. As long as there is enough water spiritual energy, immeasurable true water can condense an unlimited amount of spiritual water. This spiritual water is extremely pure, and has a certain purifying effect on polluted air. When refining pills, this spiritual water can be used to extract the essence of spiritual herbs, and it can reduce the residue of pill toxins." Wang Daoyuan nodded. "This function is not bad, at least it has some help for refining pills." Then he put the ball of water into the space of the spiritual pearl, and placed it on the north shore of the small lake, which was also the northernmost part of the spiritual pearl. Ever since he gathered the 5 elements spiritual fire, 5 spiritual veins were born in the spiritual pearl. Among them, a water spiritual vein was born where the Gui water hell flame was. With the passage of time, a spiritual spring appeared in the northernmost part of the water spiritual vein. This spring was also affected by the Gui water hell flame, and it contained an extremely rich yin qi. Similar to the birthplace of the Gui water hell flame, the Gui water hell spring, Wang Daoyuan had always called this spiritual spring the Gui water hell spring. As the 5 spiritual veins gradually grew, the amount of water in the Gui water hell spring also became larger and larger. Wang Daoyuan dug many small ditches north of the spiritual spring. Near the ditches, he planted 7-leaf ghost face flower, yellow spring willow, and other spiritual plants that liked yin qi. The spring water still couldn't be used up, so Wang Daoyuan dug a large pond at the northernmost part of the spiritual pearl to store the spring water. This large pond was also planted with black jade lotus and other spiritual plants that liked yin qi. Yun Yi and Wang Minglong also liked to cultivate in this large pond. As the amount of water increased, the pond became larger and larger. Now the pond had become a small lake that covered an area of nearly 100 acres. Wang Daoyuan named it North Underworld Lake. The level of spiritual power in the lake was not low. The Gui Water Hell Spring had now reached the 6th rank. As the spiritual power in the spring water gradually dissipated, it could still maintain the level of the 5th rank. The immeasurable true water could absorb enough spiritual power in the lake to produce more spiritual spring water. This time we have a lot of harvest. The immeasurable true water and the corpse of the 6th rank Kuei dragon. It shouldn't be a problem to exchange for an island with a radius of 1,000 miles. Staying at the bottom of the sea is not a solution. Let's go back first. Zhou Wan nodded, and the two swam towards the surface. The battle between the 6th rank monster and the spirit-severing cultivator had scared the other monsters away. None of them dared to block the way. After coming to the surface of the sea, they took the flying boat to the Fire Lotus Island. This place was less than 20,000 miles away from the Fire Lotus Island. Even if they didn't know the way, they could clearly see the huge Fire Lotus Island from the sky. Not long after returning to his small courtyard, Li Qin came to visit. Wang Daoyuan welcomed him into the courtyard and activated the formation in the courtyard. Li Qin hurriedly asked, "Wu brothers, how did you escape?" The Kuei dragon clan is much stronger than the flood dragons of the same rank. Even a spirit-severing cultivator would have a hard time defeating them. How did you escape unscathed? Wang Daoyuan pretended to be still in a state of shock. This Kuei Jiao is indeed extraordinary. I tried my best but was only able to block a few of his spells. If the battle had continued, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to survive. Fortunately, during these years of traveling outside, he had obtained some small gadgets. This time, I used 2 10,000-mile instant talismans to escape with my Dao partner. Li Chen was shocked. 10,000-mile instant talisman? Is that the kind of escape talisman that only spirit-severing cultivators can refine? Legend has it that it can use the law of space to escape thousands of miles in an instant. Unless the opponent has mastered the law of space, no one below the Mahayana stage can stop it. This thing only exists in legends. Even the 7 Stars Alliance and the Blood Shark don't have it. Where did you get it? After asking this, he hurriedly smiled and said, "Wu brothers, I'm really sorry. I was so shocked that I lost my composure. I shouldn't have pried into your privacy." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand. It's actually not that big of a deal. When I was traveling in the southern part of the Myriad Demon Islands, I came across an ancient cultivator's cave abode. Unfortunately, many of the treasures left behind by that senior can no longer be used. Only the 2 10,000-mile instant talismans are still in good condition. If it weren't for these treasures, I wouldn't have dared to try. Unfortunately, I underestimated the Kuei dragon's strength and wasted these treasures. Li Chen also sighed. It is indeed a pity, but it's fine as long as he's alive. Wu brothers are proficient in pill refinement and tool refinement, so he earns spirit stones much faster than us. He's also very talented and has a bright future ahead of him. It won't be a problem for him to break through to the deity transformation stage in the future. Losing 2 10,000-mile instant talismans isn't that big of a deal. You and your wife were dragged into this mess by us. In the end, you didn't gain anything and even lost 2 10,000-mile instant talismans. I really feel bad about it. Brotherly, you're too polite. It's not like I didn't gain anything. Didn't I kill a 5th-grade high-grade Kuei dragon before? Even if I can't completely make up for my losses, I didn't make this trip in vain. Since you're both safe and sound, I won't disturb you any further. Goodbye. Wang Daoyuan sent him to the door. After returning to the courtyard, Zhou Wan asked, "What's up with that portable secret realm of yours? Why do I feel like there's something wrong with the flow of time?" Wang Daoyuan didn't plan on hiding it from her. The flow of time in this secret realm is more than 100 times that of the outside world. Of course you'd feel that something is wrong. This time, Zhou Wan was stunned. There's such a powerful secret realm in this world? No wonder you seem to have endless resources. With this secret realm, the value of planting high-grade spiritual plants is really too great. The nascent soul fruit takes 5,000 years to ripen. With this space, you can harvest a batch in less than 50 years. Even if it's a 10,000-year-old spiritual plant, you can cultivate it in less than 100 years. Using his hand to lift Zhou Wan's chin, he said, "Of course. Now you know how powerful your husband is, right? Follow me and I'll make sure you eat and drink well." Zhou Wan grabbed his hand and twisted it. Unfortunately, it didn't budge. "You didn't tell me you had such a good thing. If I'd known, I would have cultivated in the secret realm. If you put me inside, it would have been faster to cultivate the embryonic form of the tool spirit." Wang Daoyuan didn't refuse and put her into the space of the spirit pearl. From the space of the spirit pearl, he took out 2 demonic cultivator clones to stand guard outside. His own primordial spirit also entered the space of the spirit pearl. After fighting with the Kuei dragon, he discovered that he still had a lot of shortcomings. He also needed to find time to deduce a few spells, so that the next time he met a strong enemy, his methods would be too simple. As soon as he entered the space of the spirit pearl, he discovered that something was wrong. A large amount of yin qi rose from the north of the Xianming Lake. His primordial spirit flew over to investigate and found that the lake water in the north was extremely pure, without a trace of yin qi. Chapter 10:16. Beneath this pure lake was the location of the immeasurable primordial water. The spiritual spring water produced by the immeasurable true water was relatively pure, and would not directly mix with ordinary water, so it was normal for a portion of pure lake water to appear. However, it was inexcusable that the yin qi in the vicinity of this pure lake was so dense. After all, this was the northernmost end of the North Underworld Lake, the furthest from the Guei Water Nether Spring. His divine sense entered the lake and carefully examined the changes in the lake water. After the spiritual spring water produced by the immeasurable true water came into contact with the lake water, it absorbed the surrounding lake water. However, the spirit spring water only absorbed pure water and water spiritual energy from the lake, and the yin qi was separated. A small portion of the yin qi fused into the surrounding lake water, but most of it dissipated into the air. The space occupied by the pure lake water was still expanding, with the intention of swallowing up the entire dark North Lake. Previously, in order to prevent the immeasurable primordial water from producing too much water and drowning the entire space within the spiritual pearl, he did not place it on the water spiritual vein. Currently, the immeasurable true aquatic spiritual spring water relied on the water spiritual energy within the lake. After all, the water spiritual energy was limited, and the raw materials were limited, so the things produced were naturally limited. Previously, the lake water was filled with yin qi. Ordinary spirit plants and spirit beasts couldn't withstand it. This part of the dark North Lake was relatively pure and could be used for fish farming and irrigation. Zhou Wan was meditating in the thatched hut. When she saw Wang Daoyuan's primordial spirit enter, she flew over and grabbed it. "I heard that primordial spirits look very similar to cultivators when they were young. I didn't expect you to look so disgusting. You were quite fun when you were young. What do you mean by humans and dogs are detestable? Back then, I was also a famous young talent in Qingli County. Ever since I reached Foundation Establishment, the people who came to propose marriage almost blocked Qingli River." Zhou Wan pointed at the spiritual fire of life. "That peach tree is quite extraordinary. It can even provide spiritual energy for the spiritual fire of life. What's so special about it?" "That's the Mystic Sky Emerald Spirit Peach. It's a spirit tree that Supremacy Green would found in the Azure Dragon ruins. Flowers would only bloom at the 5th stage and bear fruit at the 6th stage. No matter how badly injured a cultivator below the Mahayana stage was, as long as they were still breathing, they would recover after eating the profound Sky Jade Spirit Peach. I've just broken through to the divine transformation realm and this peach tree has just reached the 6th level. The 7 peach blossoms haven't even withered yet. If he wanted to eat this peach, he would have to wait a long time. The life spirit flame should also be recorded in the blood shadow ancient records. When I found this profound sky jade spirit peach, it was in a state of near death, but it gave birth to a spirit flame. I say, Lord Shadow Master, can you put me down? I'm the primordial spirit of a divine transformation cultivator. It doesn't look good if you carry me around. I just find it fun to see you like this. Ming Ren looked similar to me when he was young. Why don't we have another child? Screw you, I'm going to continue nurturing the artifact spirit. Wang Daoyuan took a good stroll in the space of the spirit pearl, looking at the spirit plants in the space of the spirit pearl. The spirit beasts that had been raised in the space of the spiritual pearl, such as the fierce blood pig, had been transferred to the Qingkun gourd. A rank 3 spatial artifact was not a problem for him to rear rank 2 spirit beasts. When he went through the divine tribulation and absorbed the gifts from heaven and earth, he couldn't absorb all of them himself. Most of them were sent to the space in the spiritual pearl. Among the 5 spiritual fires, apart from the life spiritual fire that had broken through to rank 6, the other 4 spiritual fires had also reached the peak of rank 5 and showed signs of breaking through. Yun-Yi, the fat cat, had also gained a lot of benefits. She was now sleeping under a yellow spring willow next to the Gue water nether spring. It seemed that it wouldn't take long for her to break through. The space of the spiritual pearl had also expanded a lot. It was now more than 400 acres. All kinds of spirit plants had also improved. The mysterious sky green spirit peach and blood fire hibiscus had broken through to rank 6. The yellow spring willow stump that was dug out from the yellow spring secret realm had broken through to rank 6 earlier than the mysterious sky green spirit peach. The hidden cloud tea had been upgraded to rank 5 upper grade. The 7-leaf ghost face flower and the jade needle white jade pine had also reached rank 5 middle grade. The gourd vine that had borne the rank 4 lower grade wood gourd had also broken through to rank 4 middle grade. After thousands of years in the space, there was hope that it could bear the rank 4 upper grade wood gourd. By then, it could be refined into a rank 5 lower grade spatial artifact. The rank 5 lower grade wood Qingkun gourd could be used to grow rank 4 spirit plants. It could also make a lot of space for the spiritual pearl space. What made Wang Daoyuan most happy was that the willow branch that he broke off from the hollow willow tree in the Green Willow province before leaving Beiyuan Xiuxian for the first time had also changed. This willow branch had broken through to rank 2 lower grade with the help of the gift of heaven and earth. It had also grown to the thickness of an adult's wrist. This hollow willow was worthy of being a spirit plant that could compare to the divine wood. Its growth speed was really slow. There were also many other spirit plants that were already close to breaking through. In the southern part of the spiritual pearl space, in the lava lake near the Scarlet Sun True Fire, the fire spirit was working hard to cultivate. This guy had a completely different personality from Yun-Yi. If Yun-Yi didn't force him, he wouldn't cultivate at all. The fire spirit didn't let him do anything else, so he kept cultivating. Wang Daoyuan also couldn't be bothered with him. The dragon-locking vine that he had obtained in the Sunset Abyss secret realm was also planted nearby. When he had just transplanted it, it was only rank 3 upper grade. Now, it had already reached rank 4 lower grade. There were no monsters nearby for them to suck blood, so their growth speed wasn't fast. After patrolling around the spiritual pearl space, Wang Daoyuan's primordial spirit found an open space and began to deduce the Gue water divine thunder. In addition to the sword cultivation spell, he still needed a powerful rank 6 spell to hold up his facade. Now that Yuanying had turned into a primordial spirit and left his body, although he couldn't increase his cultivation, he could recover his spirit power. Staying in the spiritual pearl space for a long time also wouldn't be in danger of exhausting his spirit power. After staying in the space for more than 8 years, he had successfully deduced the Gue water divine thunder, the water dragon technique, and the Tiangang sword formation to rank 6. Only less than a month had passed in the outside world. For cultivators, this amount of time was nothing. During this time, Zhou Wan's weapon spirit carrier had also finished nurturing, and the essence of the leaf fire had completely disappeared. The energy in it had already turned into the prototype of a weapon spirit and was absorbed by Zhou Wan into the vision between Yuan Ying's eyebrows. At this moment, the doppelganger outside the spiritual pearl space heard someone knocking on the door. "Shadow Master, there's someone outside the courtyard. Let's go out." Zhou Wan nodded. After staying in this secret realm for so many years, it's time to go out and exercise. Wang Daoyuan brought Zhou Wan out of the spiritual pearl space, and his primordial spirit returned to his body. He put away the two doppelganger guarding the door, stretched his body, and opened the courtyard door. He saw a stranger standing outside the courtyard door. This person's cultivation was at the late stage of yuanying. He looked like a middle-aged man dressed in a white robe. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, "Dao Yu, are you here to sell materials for refining weapons and elixirs, or to buy elixirs and magic weapons?" The middle-aged man shook his head. "Neither. I want to discuss something important with Dao Yu." Wang Daoyuan led him into the courtyard. After activating the array, he asked, "What does Dao Yu want to talk about?" The middle-aged cultivator smiled and said, "I am Li Tonghai, an elder of the Jinhai sect. I heard that Dao Yu encountered the Kuei dragon in the deep sea and escaped unscathed. I want to invite Wu Dao Yu to join the Jinhai sect." Wang Daoyuan chuckled. "I'm living a carefree life here. Why would I want to join the Jinhai sect? Although the Jinhai sect is not as powerful as those semi-god realm cultivators, we are still quite powerful in the Demon's Islands. If Wu Dao Yu and his wife join us, their status will be no lower than that of our sect master. Also, the Jinhai sect used to be a branch of the Imperial Regency. We have collected many kinds of inheritances. Wu Dao Yu was an itinerant cultivator, so he must be lacking in inheritances. If you can join the Jinhai sect, you can choose any of the inheritances in the sect. Thank you for your kindness, Li Dao Yu. However, I don't want to join any sect. Please find someone else." Li Tonghai put on a pitiful look. "It's not that I want to pester you. It's just that the Jinhai sect is having a hard time. It's hard for ordinary people to survive on the Demon's Islands. Even low-level cultivators can't adapt. Therefore, there are very few righteous cultivators. Now, the two tigers in the Sea of Seven Stars are fighting. They don't have time to care about the Demon's Islands. In recent years, there are fewer and fewer righteous cultivators on the Demon's Islands. Now, there are only two sects, the Jinhai sect and the Golden Sands sect. If we can't get more people to join us, I'm afraid there will be no more righteous cultivators on the Demon's Islands." He was trying to win him over with righteousness. Wang Daoyuan wouldn't fall for it. "As a fellow righteous cultivator, I can't stand by and do nothing when the Jinhai sect is in trouble. In the future, if the Jinhai sect wants to buy magic weapons and pills, I'll give them a 20% discount. As for joining the Jinhai sect, my wife and I are used to living a carefree life. We're not interested. In a few years, we'll go to the Sunset Abyss to find spiritual items to help us break through to the soul formation realm. I don't want to be tied down by worldly affairs. Please don't blame me, Dao Yu." Li Tonghai saw that he couldn't persuade him, so he didn't waste his breath. "Since Wu Dao Yu doesn't want to join us, the Jinhai sect won't force you. If Dao Yu changes your mind in the future, the Jinhai sect welcomes Dao Yu to join us at any time. I still have other things to do, so I'll take my leave." With that, he left the small courtyard. Zhou Wan asked, "I remember that you have a grudge against the Jinhai sect. Those guys aren't going to teach you a lesson, are they? I joined the Golden Sands sect under the name of Wu Chuan and forced two yuanying elders of the Jinhai sect to death. But there are many people with the same name in the world. They won't cause me trouble just because they have the same name. Besides, I killed the Kuei dragon only a month ago. Even if Li Chen and the others didn't keep their mouths shut, the Jinhai sect wouldn't have been able to find out the truth in such a short time. The Jinhai sect is a subordinate force of the Blood Shark. They should know that Wu Chuan is Zhou Ming. If they were really suspicious of my identity, they wouldn't have just sent Li Tonghai. I don't think this Li Tonghai is targeting me specifically. He's trying to recruit people here. The two powers in the Sea of Seven Stars are fighting, and many rogue cultivators have fled to the Demon Islands. This is the best time for the Zhenhai sect to recruit people and strengthen themselves. This Li Tonghai might have coincidentally heard about how I escaped from the hands of a rank 6 Kuei Jiao, so he decided to pay me a visit. Then what should we do? Should we leave Fire Lotus Island and prevent the Blood Shark from sending experts to cause trouble? There's no rush. Let's continue to buy all kinds of materials. Back then, I killed the peak Yuanying Master Huang when I was a peak Yuanying cultivator. Now, I'm only a peak Yuanying cultivator. How many people will the Blood Shark send to deal with me? The war between the Blood Shark and the Seven Stars Alliance is still raging. They can't send a large number of experts to cause trouble for me. Even if they confirm my identity, they won't make a big fuss. Since Li Chen and the others didn't keep their mouths shut, the matter of the 10,000-mile flash talisman should have spread. In the next few days, there will be a lot of people coming to buy the 10,000-mile flash talisman, and business will be a lot better. It's better to make some money before we leave. Chapter 10:17. Wang Daoyuan had deduced a few spells to level 6 in the space of the spiritual pearl. However, it was not suitable to practice on the Fire Lotus Island. There would be more and more cultivators coming to buy the 10,000-mile instant talisman. It was not suitable for him to cultivate with Zhou Wan anymore. It was better to take the time to improve his alchemy, artifact, and talisman array skills. Wang Daoyuan also had the refining method for the 10,000-mile instant talisman. However, the requirements for the materials were extremely high. The raw material of the talisman paper had to be the fur of a level 6 demonic beast, and the talisman ink had to be the blood essence of the same level 6 demonic beast. In other words, to refine the 10,000-mile instant talisman, he had to kill a level 6 demonic beast. At the Soul Formation realm, there were many life-saving methods. If the difference in cultivation was not big, it was not difficult to defeat the opponent, but it was very difficult to kill the opponent. This 10,000-mile instant talisman could be said to be the best treasure for escaping below the Mahayana realm. Even if he was besieged by many soul formation cultivators, he had a great chance of escaping. Mahayana realm cultivators could tear space. In front of them, the 10,000-mile instant talisman was like child's play. However, in the Sea of Seven Stars, where there were no Mahayana realm cultivators, it could be said to be a true divine artifact. If he wanted to refine a level 6 talisman, the materials were very difficult. Artifact talismans were much better. Although it took a bit of effort, they could be used repeatedly and save a lot of materials. However, before refining, he had to learn how to refine a level 6 magic artifact. The level 6 materials were still not enough. The brilliant sun gold and the Kuei dragon's corpse could not be moved easily. The blood fire hibiscus and the yellow spring willow had just broken through to level 6. The trunk had become a level 6 material, but the branches were not. He could not cut down the entire tree just to practice. It was better to refine a level 5 high-grade magic artifact first. It would not be too late to make a move when he was more confident. He prepared to refine a level 5 high-grade pill furnace and began to forge the embryo. The embryo of such a large magic artifact was not easy to refine. It took him a whole month to forge it into shape. He could not inscribe the pattern yet. He had to first nurture the embryo and increase its potential. Wang Daoyuan placed the embryonic form of the alchemy furnace into the Xian cauldron. It was time to receive the cultivators who came to do business. 2 days ago, some cultivators came to visit, but Zhou Wan rejected them all on the grounds that Wang Daoyuan was busy refining tools. If they didn't open their doors for business, these guys might play dirty. Wang Daoyuan opened the door to the courtyard. There was a sign hanging in front of the door that said, "Refining in progress, please do not disturb." He took off the sign and turned off the defensive formation of the courtyard. In less than 5 minutes, a late Yuanian cultivator arrived. This person was not young. Although he looked like a middle-aged man, the decaying aura on his body could not be concealed. Wang Daoyuan welcomed him into the courtyard and activated the soundproof formation. He asked, "Daoyu, what business do you have with my humble abode?" The middle-aged cultivator cupped his hands. "Wu Daoyu, I am Lin Shao, an elder of the Imperial Regency. I am in charge of the Imperial Regency's business in the myriad demon islands. Daoyu also knows about the Imperial Regency's battle with the Seven Stars Alliance. Now is the time to recruit people. I heard that Daoyu managed to escape unscathed from the level 6 Kuei dragon a few days ago. I want to recruit Daoyu. As long as Daoyu is willing, you can immediately become an elder of the Imperial Regency. The inheritance level of my Imperial Regency is second to none in the Sea of Seven Stars. As long as Wu Daoyu is willing to join my Imperial Regency, you can choose any of the inheritances in the sect. If you can make contributions to the sect, you might be able to obtain a spiritual item that can assist you in breaking through to the soul formation stage." These big factions were all the same. They were very good at making empty promises. They said that he could choose any of the inheritances in the sect, but to put it bluntly, it was just the inheritances on the surface. The true core inheritances were in the hands of the sect master and the grand elders. If they did not give it to him, he could not snatch it from them. As for the spiritual item that could assist him in breaking through to the soul formation stage, he might not even have a chance. Besides, do you think I'm still lacking something? In terms of inheritances, the 5 top factions in Beiyuan Shouxian, plus the Blood Shadow Empire and the Zhou Empire, were all stronger than the Sea of Seven Stars. If he could really gather all the inheritances of the Shenlian school, he might be able to compete with the Valley of Beasts. However, the core inheritances of the Shenlian school were in the Ziwei Hall. They did not obtain much at all. Wang Daoyuan did not want to risk his life with the blood shark right now, so he still had to maintain the etiquette on the surface. My husband and I are used to traveling around and do not like to be controlled. As for inheritances and the like, we have obtained some over the years. Although they are not very advanced, they are enough. As for the spiritual items that can assist in breaking through to the soul formation stage, they are extremely rare in any faction. I am an outsider, so I do not expect these. At most, I will go to the Sunset Abyss. With my ability, it will not be a problem for me to find the spiritual items. Lin Shao sighed. Daoyu is a genius, but he is unwilling to join the Imperial Regency. This is also the Imperial Regency's misfortune. I heard that when Daoyu escaped from the Kuei dragon, he used the talisman of 10,000 miles in a flash. The Imperial Regency is very interested in this item. Is Daoyu willing to part with it? The Imperial Regency is willing to buy it at a high price. I may have to disappoint Daoyu. I found an ancient cultivator's cave in the southern part of the Demon Islands. However, it has been a long time, and most of the treasures in the cave have been destroyed. The 2 talismans of 10,000 miles in a flash were kept because they were well kept. Even in the legendary ancient times, this kind of thing was not something to be trifled with. How could an ancient rogue cultivator have so many of them? The only 2 talismans have been used. Even if Daoyu offers a sky-high price, there is nothing I can do. Wu Daoyu is too serious. This item is rare. It is normal that Daoyu does not have it. The Imperial Regency will naturally not force you. However, there is one more thing I need to ask. Now that the Imperial Regency is at war with the Seven Stars Alliance, we are lacking in all kinds of resources. Daoyu is proficient in alchemy and artifact forging. How is his level? Hearing this, the Imperial Regency did not have enough pills and artifacts. Thinking about it, when 2 major factions were at war, Golden Core cultivators could only be considered as cannon fodder. The pills and artifacts needed were at least of the 4th rank. However, the refinement of 4th rank pills and artifacts required a large amount of time. It was difficult to refine them in large quantities in a short period of time. The Imperial Regency, which was the current blood shark, was far inferior to the Seven Stars Alliance in terms of resources and strength. Now that more than 20 years had passed, their resources were probably a little tight. I am not talented, but my alchemy and artifact forging skills are both at the upper 5th rank. Lin Zhao's eyes lit up. The Imperial Regency would like to ask Dao Yu to help with alchemy and artifact forging. What do you think of Dao Yu? With the Imperial Regency providing the materials for artifact forging, he did not need to work hard to find them. Helping the Imperial Regency forge artifacts was also a good choice. I am in this business. Naturally, there is no problem. However, how do you calculate the price? We will provide 2 sets of materials. Dao Yu will give me 1 artifact and 10% of the artifact's market price as a reward. As for the pills, 3 sets of herbs, 10 pills, and 10% of the market price as a reward. As for the artifacts and pills that are not agreed upon, we will buy them at market price. Wang Daoyuan nodded. This is a very fair price. No problem. Lin Xiao took out 2 cosmos rings. The requirements and materials are inside. I will come back to collect them in a year. Dao Yu, what do you think? Wang Daoyuan took the cosmos rings. One of the cosmos rings contained refining materials and a jade slip. The other cosmos ring contained spiritual herbs and a jade slip. He took out the jade slip and checked it. The requirements were simple. 3 5th grade superior grade longswords and 29 resurrection elixirs. Obviously, this was a test of his ability. It's a small matter. Half a year will do. Lin Zhao's eyes lit up. It took at least a year to nurture a 5th rank artifact. The same was true for the 9 resurrection pills. However, there were some special secret techniques to nurture artifacts and pills that could shorten the nurturing time. Time was also a cost. If he could shorten the nurturing time, he would also reduce the cost. Since Dao Yu is so confident, I will visit again in half a year. After Lin Xiao left, a few more cultivators came to ask about the 10,000-mile instant talisman. They were all dismissed by Wang Daoyuan with the same excuse. The couple were both late-stage Yuanian cultivators. Wang Daoyuan could easily kill a 5th-rank upper Kuei dragon and escape from a 6th-rank Kuei dragon. Ordinary cultivators could only look up to him and would not dare to fight him head-on. The artifacts and pills that needed to be refined were very simple. Wang Daoyuan still had many 9 resurrection pills. He could not use them all, so there was no need to refine more. He could personally refine high-grade Tier 5 magic artifacts, and it could also improve his own refining skills. This upper 5th rank longsword was called the Ink Dragon Water-Splitting Sword. It was a relatively ordinary longsword with some water-repelling abilities. When using the Ink Dragon Water-Splitting Sword to cast water-type spells, its power would be increased. He gave 6 sets of materials and only needed to refine 3 Ink Dragon Water-Splitting Swords. The main material was a water-type material called the Ink Dragon Crystal. There were also a few non-elemental metal materials as supplementary materials. Long swords without many special abilities were the easiest to refine. In just half a month, he had finished refining the 3 artifacts. Now, all that was left was to nurture them. He put the 3 artifacts into the Xian cauldron and stored them in the spirit pearl. Wang Daoyuan also took out the cauldron embryo that he had previously refined and started to inscribe the inscriptions. The cauldron was round and had 3 legs and 2 handles. It even had a lid and carvings of the 5 elements divine beast. The refining method was found in the Valley of Beasts. It was called the 5 Elements Furnace. It had the 5 elements spirit power and could fully utilize the power of the 5 elements spirit fire. It was very suitable for Wang Daoyuan. It took him more than 3 months to complete the refining of the 5 elements furnace. He also threw it into the Xian cauldron to nurture it. The interior of the Xian cauldron was quite spacious anyway. As long as there was enough spirit power, nurturing dozens of artifacts at the same time was not a problem. In the following time, Wang Daoyuan did not refine any new artifacts. Instead, he summarized his experience and comprehended some methods of refining 6th rank artifacts. Half a year passed quickly, and Lin Xiao came to visit again. Wang Daoyuan took out 3 ink dragon water-splitting swords and 29 death soul return pills. Lin Daoyu, these are the ink dragon water-splitting swords and the 9 death soul return pills. Let me say this first, I refined these 9 death soul return pills before. I still have many of these pills that are commonly seen in Yuanian cultivators. There is no need to refine them. Lin Xiao took the swords and pills and carefully examined them for a long time. I am not talented, but I have some experience in refining artifacts and pills. Fellow Daoist Wu's methods are far beyond my reach. It's just that the refining methods of these artifacts and pills are brilliant and strange. I can't tell which sect they belong to. Lin Daoyu, you must be joking. I was born as a loose cultivator. My artifact and pill refining methods are still rooted in the things of loose cultivators. When I was traveling, I also obtained some incomplete inheritances. There were even some inheritances of fiendish cultivators. I comprehended and integrated them myself to reach my current level. How can I be qualified to be called a sect? Chapter 10:18. In the beginning, Wang Daoyuan had self-taught himself and received some guidance from perfected Lei Yan. Later, he became perfected Lei Yan's disciple and learned most of the treasure cauldron lineage's refining techniques. He also received the refining legacies of Shenlian's school and the Valley of Beasts, and Xian Xian's guidance. Although he didn't fully comprehend everything, he still learned a lot. The things he learned were not limited by the views of sects, and he would use whatever was useful. Although he didn't completely master the refining techniques of these sects, he could still be considered to have learned from them. Therefore, in the eyes of others, his refining techniques were both brilliant and strange. Lin Xiao nodded his head. Fellow Daoist Wu's talent is truly extraordinary. Learning many incomplete artifact refining methods, you can actually form your own sect. If he had a brilliant refining legacy and the guidance of a great teacher, his achievements would be unimaginable. Lin Daoyu is too kind. Is Daoyu satisfied with my magical artifacts and pills? Satisfied, of course. I'm not exposing my family's dirty linen, but even among the level 5 upper grade refining masters in the Imperial Regency, there are very few who can compare to Daoyu. Saying so, he took out a storage bag. The market price of the ink dragon water parting sword is 40,000 upper grade spirit stones, and the 9 death soul returning pill is 500 upper grade spirit stones. This is the payment for Wu Daoyu, a total of 13,000 upper grade spirit stones. Wang Daoyuan took the universe ring and asked, what other magical artifacts does Lin Daoyu need me to refine? You can bring more over at once. My refining cauldron can nurture more than 10 magical artifacts at the same time. It's too wasteful to only refine 3 ink dragon water parting swords at once. Lin Xiao was surprised. Looks like Wu Daoyu's refining cauldron is pretty good. There's not much demand for magical artifacts like the ink dragon water parting swords. Right now, the greatest demand is the dragon hunting crossbow. Whether it's the crossbow or the arrows, they're all in short supply. This time, I've brought 100 sets of materials for Daoyu. The price of one set of crossbow bolts is 1,000 upper grade spirit stones, and I'll pay you about 10% of the market price. Wang Daoyuan had naturally heard of the dragon hunting crossbow. It was a magic tool that came with the flying warships of the Sea of 7 Stars. It ranged from the 4th grade to the 6th grade. This item was extremely powerful, far surpassing the full-powered attack of a cultivator of the same level. Those items were not too much of a threat to cultivators. Their main purpose was to deal with the other party's flying warships. It was very difficult for a cultivator to defeat a flying warship of the same level. Even if they did, the flying warship's skin was thick and tough, making it difficult to completely destroy it. Dragon hunting crossbows posed a great threat to flying warships. After all, it was impossible for such a large warship to use evasive techniques. It could only rely on its own speed to evade. No matter how fast the flying warship was, it couldn't be faster than the crossbow bolts. It could only rely on the formation to block the bolts, and the dragon-hunting crossbow's ferocious power could be unleashed. The most important thing about the dragon-hunting crossbow was the bow, and the crafting method was kept a secret. However, the Divine Weapon Pavilion, the Valley of Beasts, and the Xunlian School all had the crafting method of this type of crossbow. For ordinary cultivators, this was something that was hard to come by. But for Wang Daoyuan, it was nothing special. Lin Xiao took out another universe ring and handed it to Wang Daoyuan. These are the materials and crafting method for the crossbow bolts. Daoyu, how long do you think it will take to complete the crafting? Wang Daoyuan took out the jade slip inside. The crafting method for the crossbow bolts was very simple. After all, it was a one-time use magic tool. It was much worse than a long sword of the same level in all aspects. With Wang Daoyuan's crafting skills, it would not be a problem for him to craft 3 or 4 of them in a day. He only needed to return 50 crossbow bolts for 100 sets of materials. It would take him more than 10 days to complete the crafting. Moreover, the crafting time for the crossbow bolts was relatively short. That's it? Half a year should be enough. If it wasn't for the fact that it takes up too much space, 2 months would be enough. Lin Daoyu, don't send me these materials next time. I don't expect to earn much more from working with the Imperial Regency than doing business with itinerant cultivators, but at least don't let me suffer a loss. I can only earn 5,000 superior grade spirit stones in half a year. It's better to go out to sea and hunt demons. Lin Xiao could only smile apologetically. After all, it was not Wang Daoyuan's turn to craft the really good stuff. The only things he could refine were these worthless things. After sending Lin Xiao away, Wang Daoyuan carefully observed the materials. Although the Imperial Regency was not very good, the materials were still good. There were only 2 kinds of materials for crafting the crossbow bolts. The arrowhead was made of 5th grade mid-grade rock-breaking iron, and the shaft was made of 5th grade mid-grade blood-patterned golden bamboo. Rock-breaking iron was a relatively common metal material in the Sea of 7 Stars. It was very hard, but not very flexible. As the saying went, if it was too hard, it would break easily. Thus, rock-breaking iron was rarely used to craft long sword-type magic weapons. Instead, it was commonly used in shields, axes, and other heavy magic weapons. Blood-patterned golden bamboo was a 5th grade superior grade spiritual plant. The bamboo shaft was completely golden and had blood-red patterns on it. It was said that the bamboo leaves were blood-red. Metal-type spiritual plants naturally had a sharp aura and were often used to craft offensive magic weapons. Although it was of a very high grade, it inherited the trait of bamboo-type spiritual plants to reproduce quickly. After the bamboo roots were buried, many bamboo shoots would grow every year. Although a bamboo shoot needed 3,000 years to break through to 5th grade, as long as the place was big enough, there would be no shortage of bamboo after planting one. However, after the blood-patterned golden bamboo was broken, the bamboo strips were a bit brittle and not suitable for crafting flying swords. Only when the blood-patterned golden bamboo reached 10,000 years old and had a qualitative change in its material would it be suitable for crafting flying swords. Thus, this thing was often used to craft magic weapons like arrow shafts. The Imperial Regency was really cunning. Most of the arrow shafts that they sent over had been left for a long time and were already lifeless. Wang Daoyuan carefully examined the 100 blood-patterned golden bamboo and found a bamboo shaft that had not completely lost its vitality. Generally speaking, bamboo could not survive without a root. However, some spiritual plant farmers had secret techniques that could allow rootless bamboo shafts to take root and survive. Wang Daoyuan naturally had such secret techniques. Together with the power of the fire of life, he might be able to revive this bamboo shaft. He stored this bamboo shaft in the space of the spirit pearl and planted it beside the fire of life. He had his clone use the secret technique to try and see if it could survive. If it was not for practice, Wang Daoyuan would not have personally crafted such a simple magic weapon. After half a month, he had successfully crafted 50 crossbow bolts. Although it was a bit difficult for the Xian Xian cauldron to nurture 50 crossbow bolts at once, it was not impossible. After half a month, the blood-patterned golden bamboo that still had some vitality had also changed. The clone kept using the secret technique. With the nourishment of the vitality, this blood-patterned golden bamboo had already grown a few roots and a few blood-red bamboo leaves. The blood-patterned golden bamboo had taken root in the space of the spirit pearl and would multiply in the future. Yun Yi, who had been sleeping for a long time, finally showed signs of waking up. Yun Yi Tiger was only a rank 2 demon beast. Even in the Valley of Beasts, it could only nurture a rank 3 superior grade demon beast. Now, every time he broke through, he would create a historical record for the Yun Yi Tiger species. The breakthrough this time was a bit big. Yun Yi had indeed slept for a long time. At this time, Yun Yi's spirit power was fluctuating more and more violently. She was already on the verge of breaking through. Wang Daoyuan took her out of the space of the spirit pearl. Zhou Wan asked, "What? Yun Yi is about to break through?" "Yes, this guy has the bloodline of the soul-devouring dark tiger. Once it transcends the tribulation, it will definitely cause a big commotion. It's definitely not reliable to transcend the tribulation on the Fire Lotus Island. It's better to find an uninhabited island for it to transcend the tribulation." The two of them took the flying boat and headed southwest. In the entire Qixing Sea Shuxin community, there were still many islands with spirit veins but no cultivators settled down. After all, the sea was not like the land. The island needed to be of a large enough size to resist the invasion of demon beasts. In only half a day, the two of them found a small island with a radius of 5 to 6 miles. There was also a rank 5 inferior grade spirit vein on the island. Wang Daoyuan placed Yun Yi on the island and drew out some water and metal attribute spirit power and injected it into Yun Yi's body. The spirit power of a soul formation cultivator was of great help to Yun Yi. Yun Yi soon woke up. This fellow was a little sleepy. "Master, where are we?" "Don't worry about where we are. You are about to break through. Quickly break through and then face the heavenly tribulation." Hearing that she was about to transcend the heavenly tribulation, Yun Yi immediately became energetic. In addition to being lazy, she was also greedy for life and afraid of death. When she broke through to rank 4 last time, she was seriously injured. She also knew that her life might be in danger during the tribulation, so she had to be careful. Wang Daoyuan continued to inject spirit power into her body, and Yun Yi also refined it. In less than 100 breaths, a powerful aura erupted from Yun Yi's body. Her cultivation had successfully broken through to rank 5. At this time, tribulation clouds began to appear in the sky. Wang Daoyuan immediately left the island so as not to interfere with the heavenly tribulation. The surrounding spirit power also began to gather directly above the island, gradually expanding the tribulation clouds. In the end, the tribulation clouds expanded to a diameter of about 200 miles. It seemed that Yun Yi's potential was still much worse than the red-feathered crows. When the red-feathered crow transcended the tribulation clouds reached a diameter of 300 miles. When a semi-divine beast broke through to rank 5, the tribulation clouds were about the same level. Yun Yi's bloodline was still a little worse than a semi-divine beast's. Hopefully, after transcending the tribulation, her potential would increase. The heavenly tribulation soon arrived. It had to be said that Yun Yi was a dumb cat with dumb luck. Relying on her own divine beast bloodline and the many precious spirit medicines in the space of the spirit pearl, her strength was not weak. A blue and white lightning ball fell, but it was actually shattered by his claw. She was unharmed and could even absorb a lot of tribulation power to temper her body and inner core. When a demon beast broke through to rank 5, it was the same as the human nascent soul formation heavenly tribulation. There were 5 heavenly tribulations of similar power. If she could withstand the first one, the rest was nothing to be afraid of. 2 hours later, Yun Yi withstood the 5 heavenly tribulations unscathed. Her physical body and aura were greatly strengthened. A quarter of an hour later, a tiger roar came from the tribulation clouds. Then, a white tiger more than 10 feet long descended from the sky. This tiger's appearance was not much different from Yun Yi's, but its aura was much stronger. This heavenly tribulation white tiger opened its mouth and let out another tiger roar. This tiger roar had the power to shock the soul. Not only that, but a gust of wind also flew out from the white tiger's mouth. Yun Yi was a little stunned by the tiger roar and couldn't dodge the gust of wind. Many blood Taoists instantly appeared on her body. This gust of wind actually had extremely strong lethality. The gust of wind didn't dissipate directly. Instead, it turned into a tornado and trapped Yun Yi. It seemed that Yun Yi was finally about to awaken a new divine ability. The Imperial Wind divine ability was still relatively strong. It could be used to attack and defend, fight and escape. The divine ability was strong enough, but the stronger the divine ability, the more difficult it was to transcend the tribulation. Yun Yi's entire tiger was wrapped in the tornado, and shocking wounds kept appearing on her body. If this continued, she had no hope of successfully transcending the tribulation. Chapter 10:19. Yun Yi was a fat cat who had never suffered much. How could she bear this? He roared again and again, trying to disperse the tornado. However, his strength was clearly not enough. The tornado only trembled slightly before it continued to wrap around him. As a soul formation cultivator, Wang Daoyuan was extremely sensitive to the power of laws. This wind was not made up of wind attribute spiritual energy, but metal attribute spiritual energy. Through the rapid flow of spiritual energy, wind was generated, and then it continuously absorbed wood and water attribute spiritual energy from the outside world, thus forming a method similar to a wind attribute spell. As the saying goes, the clouds follow the dragon, and the wind follows the tiger. Even if the white tiger bloodline was not of the wind attribute, it could still control the wind. Bloodline talents were innate. The method seemed simple, but it was difficult to learn. The wind that the tribulation white tiger spat out was mainly of the metal element, so it was needless to say how lethal it was. Yun Yi had been unscathed when she faced the heavenly tribulation head-on previously. Now, as long as she came into contact with a gust of wind, a wound nearly a foot long would appear on her body. Yun Yi's intelligence was definitely not low now, and she knew that this could not go on. He shrunk his body to about a foot long, and a gust of wind appeared around him. This wind was similar to the wind spat out by the white tiger of calamity. It was mainly made up of metal element spiritual energy, mixed with some wind element spiritual energy. Since his body had shrunk, his range of contact with the outside world had decreased, and the amount of spiritual energy needed to protect himself had also decreased. The fierce wind controlled by the white tiger of heavenly tribulation was unable to break through his defense. Demonic beast's bloodline heavenly tribulation was the same as humans' divine ability heavenly tribulation. After all, the heavenly tribulation was meant to test the cultivator, not to kill them. As long as the fifth stage heavenly tribulation could be delayed for an hour, it would be considered over. It was absolutely impossible to defeat the heavenly tribulation. The power of the divine ability tribulation and the bloodline heavenly tribulation depended on the strength of the person transcending the heavenly tribulation. They would always be stronger than the person transcending the heavenly tribulation. When Yun Yi broke through to the fourth order, she relied on her wings to dodge attacks. This time, the heavenly tribulation white tiger used the wind-controlling divine ability, so Yun Yi's wings couldn't help. Heaven's calamity white tiger saw that Yu Feng was unable to win and immediately pounced forward. Yun Yi was determined to stall for time. She maintained her small figure and wrapped herself in a layer of spiritual power, allowing him to hit her however he wanted. The white tiger of heavenly tribulation used all kinds of methods, but even after an hour, it still couldn't completely finish off Yun Yi. In the end, the white tiger could only detonate its own tribulation power to give Yun Yi the final blow. Yun Yi hadn't lived in vain all these years. Although the heavenly tribulation white tiger had self-detonated, she had only fainted. His life force was still very tenacious, and he didn't even need Wang Daoyuan to replenish his life force. A quarter of an hour later, a gift from the heavens descended. Soon, Yun-Yi woke up. Looking at the auspicious clouds in the sky and sensing the state of his body, he revealed a smile that was extremely similar to that of a human. I've finally survived another calamity. I can eat, drink, and play for another few hundred years. The gift from the heavens and earth of a rank 5 demonic beast was no longer of any use to Wang Daoyuan, so he didn't share any of it. After the gift from the heavens and earth, Yun-Yi instantly disappeared, bringing along a gust of wind. Then, he suddenly appeared beside Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan. His speed was far faster than an ordinary early-stage Yuanian cultivator, and his combat power was probably not weak. He shrunk his body to 1 foot long and rubbed against Wang Daoyuan's leg. Wang Daoyuan naturally knew what he meant and took out some spiritual fruits to feed him. When he was satisfied with the fruits, he kept them in the space of his spiritual pearl. Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan also set off to return to the Fire Lotus Island. When they arrived in front of their courtyard, they saw that there were cultivators watching them. These people were most likely sent by Lin Xiao. He was worried that they would escape without completing the refining task. Wang Daoyuan was too lazy to care about these things. Collecting high-grade refining materials was the most important thing in business. Half a year passed quickly, and Lin Xiao came to the small courtyard again. Wang Daoyuan gave him 50 crossbow bolts. Daoyu, take a look at these bolts. If there are no problems, give me the spirit stones. If you want to continue working with me, don't ask me to refine these things. If I have the time to refine these trash for the Imperial Regency, I might as well refine some magic tools and sell them to rogue cultivators. Lin Xiao smiled apologetically. Wu Daoyu, don't be offended. I've brought you something good this time. I'll give you 5 sets of materials. If you can refine them, I'll give you 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. It's just that this thing is not easy to refine. Can you do it? Wang Daoyuan only had a few 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. 100,000 high-grade spirit stones was indeed a high price. Don't keep me guessing. Just tell me what it is. If I can do it, I won't refuse. If I can't do it, I won't take this job either. Lin Xiao mysteriously took out a dozen jade slips. Wang Daoyuan casually took a jade slip and looked at it. There's no need to look. Isn't it just the flying warship spirit energy conversion device? I thought it was something mysterious. 100,000 high-grade spirit stones, you're really willing to spend. Refining the spirit energy conversion device was considered a hard and tiring job in refining the flying warship. Most blacksmiths were unwilling to do it. After all, rank 5 blacksmiths couldn't understand the law inscriptions. They could only follow the contents of the ancient books and inscribe them bit by bit. However, Wang Daoyuan had already mastered the common law inscriptions. Inscribing law inscriptions was not much different from inscribing tool inscriptions or array inscriptions. The materials used for the spirit energy conversion device were all good stuff. They were even better than the materials used for the flying warship's core. After all, the entire warship's spirit energy had to go through this device. 5 sets of materials meant that he had earned 4 sets for free. There was also a reward of 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. Only now did he realize that the Imperial Regency was really a good person. Lin Zhao's eyes lit up. You can refine this? Not many itinerant cultivators know this. You don't need to know how I do it, but it's not difficult at all. Give me 100,000 high-grade spirit stones and refining materials. If I don't need to nurture it, I can refine it in a year. Lin Xiao was overjoyed. Really? Leave the materials here. Just bring 100,000 high-grade spirit stones here a year later. Lin Xiao took out a cosmos ring. The materials are all here. I'll bring 100,000 high-grade spirit stones here a year later. Wang Daoyuan took the cosmos ring. The last time I went out, it was because the spirit beast I raised was going through a tribulation. You don't have to send someone to keep an eye on me. I won't leave if I can earn spirit stones. When it's time to leave, even a soul formation cultivator won't be able to stop me. Lin Xiao could only smile apologetically. Wu Daoyu, you must be joking. I'm just doing business. I don't mean anything else. After sending Lin Xiao away, Wang Daoyuan took out the refining materials. It was a grayish-white, high-quality, level 5 material called 100 alchemy gold. It wasn't a natural metal material, but a mixture of various metals and then forged with a secret method. This method could make up for the defects of some excellent metal materials and retain their advantages. Different forging secret methods and raw materials would lead to different characteristics and grades of 100 alchemy gold. Generally speaking, 100 alchemy gold had no obvious defects and could be refined into all kinds of magic artifacts. It was still very valuable. The 100 alchemy gold that Lin Xiao gave was more than 200 kilograms in total, which was indeed enough to refine 5 spiritual power conversion devices. It shouldn't be a problem to sell these level 5 high-quality 100 alchemy gold for 100,000 or 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. The Imperial Regency was really generous to use this thing to refine spiritual power conversion devices. Zhou Wan also came over to take a look. This is the legendary 100 alchemy gold. It's recorded in Blood Shadow's ancient books, but I've never seen it before. With my level, one set of materials is enough. If you want, I can refine a few magic artifacts for you with the rest. There aren't many level 5 high-quality materials. You can keep them for great use. I have a few magic artifacts left behind by the ancestors of Blood Shadow, so you don't have to worry about me. If you're busy refining, there's no point in me just watching. Let's go into your portable mystic realm. You can also take a look at the ancient books of the Valley of Beasts and supervise Yunyi's cultivation. Wang Daoyuan naturally had no objections. He put her into the space of the spirit pearl and cut out a piece of 100 alchemy gold to forge. With his current level, it would only take him 3 months to refine it directly. In order to deepen his understanding of the spiritual power conversion device and prepare to improve the inscriptions in the future, he patiently studied all the inscriptions. Sometimes, his primordial spirit would enter the space of the spirit pearl and use the flow of time to comprehend the inscriptions used on it. During the refining process, Wang Daoyuan also left a simple method inside a part. With this method alone, he had to prevent being discovered. Naturally, it couldn't affect the entire device too much, but it could allow him to sense the approximate location of this thing. If the Imperial Regency really had a son of Providence, it was only a matter of time before he dealt with them. With this thing, he might be able to find out where the Imperial Regency's nest was. Just as he was about to finish, a jade pendant in his cosmos ring broke. This jade pendant was the special communication jade pendant that Moon Sungcheon gave him. They had agreed that he would crush the jade pendant after he took back the position of the family head. The 2 jade pendants were refined with a secret method. If one of them broke, the other would also break. No matter how far away they were, even in a mystic realm, it was often used to send messages over a long distance. Now that the jade pendant was broken, there was a high chance that Moon Sungcheon had taken back the position of the family head. Even if the usurper had the protection of a soul formation cultivator, the Wen family wouldn't give up a soul formation cultivator and a few Yuanian cultivators for a usurper. Since Moon Sungcheon succeeded, Wang Daoyuan could also go and ask for his reward. As long as he could get a few suitable islands, he could return to Beiyuan Shoshin and bring some people over. After refining the spiritual power conversion device and exchanging it for 100,000 upper-grade spirit stones, it was time to leave the Fire Lotus Island and go to the Endless Ice Sea. After spending a few days, he finished refining the spiritual power conversion device. When the 1-year period came, Lin Xiao came as promised. Wang Daoyuan took out a cosmos ring. It's here, take a look. Lin Xiao took the cosmos ring and checked the spiritual power conversion device inside. Then, he looked surprised. I didn't expect Wu Daoyu to be so capable. To tell you the truth, a few level 5 artifact refiners in our sect worked together. It took them several years to refine a spiritual power conversion device, which is far inferior to yours. Here are 100,000 upper-grade spirit stones. I wonder if Wu Dao you would like to continue refining this spiritual power conversion device? Wang Daoyuan took the storage bag. I have to go to the south for something, and it may take me a few years to come back. When I come back, as long as your sect can fulfill this condition, I will be willing to continue refining it. Lin Xiao certainly didn't want him to go. If he didn't make good use of such a coolie, it would be a waste. Unfortunately, most of the Imperial Regency's forces were on the Sea of Seven Stars to deal with the Seven Stars Alliance. There were only a few people on the Fire Lotus Island. If they dared to stop them, they would be courting death. Chapter 10-20. After Wang Daoyuan finished speaking, he stared at Lin Xiao. His face was also somewhat conflicted. He was probably wondering if he should make a move. In the end, he could only sigh. It's a pity that Dao Yu can't continue to help the Imperial Regency refine artifacts. Then I wish Dao Yu a safe journey and return to the Fire Lotus Island as soon as possible. I still have a lot of refining tasks waiting for Dao Yu. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, Dao Yu, don't worry. When I return to the Fire Lotus Island in the future, I will definitely find Dao Yu. The two chatted for a while more. Lin Xiao left the small courtyard with a heavy heart. The little trick in the spiritual power conversion device might not work. The Imperial Regency had a heritage of tens of thousands of years. Such a big force couldn't lack capable people. It wasn't a big deal to be discovered. It was just a casual move. If this plan didn't work, there was no loss. If it worked, it would be a huge gain. Wang Daoyuan opened the small courtyard's formation and brought Zhou Wan out of the space of the spiritual pearl. Why did you bring me out? I've read all the books in your secret realm. In the past year, Zhou Wan had spent most of her time in the space of the spiritual pearl. Her cultivation had already reached the peak of yuanying. It was just that the soul formation tribulation was too risky. It was best to train her mind before the tribulation. Her greatest interest was to read some secrets. After all, she was in the intelligence business before. Although she didn't have to manage the intelligence business herself now, she was still used to it. The heritage of the Valley of Beasts has been accumulated for hundreds of thousands of years. You won't be able to completely understand it even if you spend another few thousand years. The jade pendant that the Moon Sungcheon gave me was broken. Now we are going to the Endless Ice Sea to get the reward. After choosing a place to stay, we will return to Beiyuan Shoshin. If you don't want to come out, I will go to the Wen family alone. You want to meet your old flame while I'm not around? Dream on. Wang Daoyuan hurriedly changed the topic. Why would I have such thoughts? By the way, Lord Shadow Master, how is your artifact spirit? Zhou Wan waved her hand, and a scarlet wand flew out. The crimson phoenix circled around Zhou Wan a few times, and let out a phoenix cry that sounded like a clear spring. From the looks of it, it should have taken shape. However, compared to Wang Daoyuan's 5 artifact spirits, their foundations were much weaker, and they were only at the upper grade of the 5th stage. My artifact spirit is not as dumb as your 5 artifact spirits. Things take after their master. Lord Shadow Master is extremely intelligent, so the artifact spirit he raised is naturally the same. These words made Zhou Wan very happy, and she no longer mentioned the Black Ice Fairy. The two of them packed up and left the small courtyard. Wang Daoyuan activated all the formations in the small courtyard, and then drove the flying boat to the southwest. After flying southwest for 2 or 3 days, the two of them changed to Lei Peng's flying boat and turned north. On the way, they naturally released 2 clones to drive the flying boat, and recorded the islands and sea conditions along the way. Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan stayed in the cabin, discussing some questions about cultivation and life. Half a month later, the flying boat arrived at the edge of the Endless Ice Sea. The two of them changed to an ordinary flying boat and went to the mystic realm where they healed Moon Sungcheon. When they arrived at the small mountain outside the mystic realm, someone immediately came out to greet them. This person was Moon Sungcheon. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, "Should I call you Master Wen now? Speaking of which, I have to thank Dao Yu. If it weren't for your help, I wouldn't have been able to take back the position of Master. I've already prepared the reward for Dao Yu. Let's talk inside." Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Wan followed behind him and entered the mystic realm. As soon as they entered the mystic realm, Wang Daoyuan immediately summoned his 5 natal magic artifacts to protect himself. "Wen Dao Yu, this is a bit unkind. No matter what, I helped you. In this small mystic realm, there are 2 cultivators in the middle stage of the soul formation realm. Are you trying to ambush me?" An old voice sounded. "Ha ha ha, little friend Zhou is indeed extraordinary. He can refine 5 natal magic artifacts at the same time, and they all have spirits. The force behind little friend is definitely not something our Wen family can compare to. The 2 of us are only here to meet the young heroes. We have no intention of offending them. Besides, such a small mystic realm can't withstand a battle between soul formation realm cultivators. If the mystic realm is destroyed, we can't guarantee that we can escape unscathed." Moon Sungcheon also smiled and said, "These are the 2 grand elders of our Wen family. They heard about Dao Yu and wanted to come and see." Wang Daoyuan put away his magic artifacts. "Since the 2 of you are here, why didn't you tell me in advance? Were you worried that I wouldn't dare to come in? I didn't think this through. Please forgive me, Dao Yu." The old voice said again, "Little friend Zhou, please come to this stone room for a chat. The Wen family won't go back on our promises. The reward for Dao Yu is in this stone room." Wang Daoyuan held Zhou Wan's hand and walked into the stone room. If there was a trap, it wouldn't be a big deal. The 2 of them hid in the space of the spiritual pearl. Even a powerful cultivator couldn't do anything to the spiritual pearl. After entering the stone room, they saw 2 elders sitting on the main seats. The 2 of them were wearing ice blue and fire red robes respectively. It could be seen that they were ice and fire cultivators respectively. The blue-robed cultivator smiled. "I am the Grand Elder of the Wen family. Thank you, little friend Zhou, for saving Qing Tian and healing his injuries. Our Wen family has another soul formation realm cultivator." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand. "Senior Wen, you don't have to be like this. I just have a request." The red-robed cultivator's tone was slightly unfriendly. "I heard that when the 7 Stars Mystic Realm opened, little friend Zhou was only in the early Yuanying realm. The sword intent you displayed then resonated with the things in the Ziwei Palace. Is that true?" Wang Daoyuan didn't hold back and directly released the Guiyuan sword intent. The strong killing intent shocked the 3 of them. "This is my sword intent." Seeing that Wang Daoyuan wanted to show off, the blue-robed cultivator hurriedly tried to smooth things over. "My younger brother's temper isn't very good. Little friend, please forgive him. This sword intent is indeed strong. In comparison, the sword cultivator inheritances of the Alioth sword sect are like child's play. However, such a strong sword intent has never appeared in the Sea of 7 Stars. May I know where little friend's master is and what relationship do you have with the Xunlian school?" "I don't have any direct relationship with the Xunlian school. It's just that an elder in the family was an old friend of one of the Xunlian school's sect masters. There was a relic left behind by an elder in the Ziwei Palace. I just happened to come across it and took it back." With this, the 2 grand elders were intimidated. They were even more convinced that Wang Daoyuan had an extremely strong family behind him. Wang Daoyuan struck while the iron was hot. "I've discussed the remuneration with the Wen family head. May I know how the 2 seniors will arrange it?" The red-robed cultivator took out 2 golden books. These are the original copies of the 2 golden books that the Wen family's disciples snatched when they entered the Ziwei Palace. "Since Qing Tian has already agreed, you can copy the copies yourself." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and the 2 golden books instantly appeared in his hands. The 3 Wen family members were very shocked. How could he snatch something from a mid-soul formation cultivator without him being able to react? If this method was used to kill, it would be very difficult to dodge. The law of space can actually snatch something from second brother's hands in an instant. As expected, the younger generation will surpass us in time. I'm afraid this old man is no longer little friend's opponent. Wang Daoyuan flipped through the 2 golden books and at the same time, had his doppelganger in the space of the spiritual pearl copy them down. Of the 2 golden books, one was an ordinary refining technique. Wang Daoyuan really didn't care about it. The other book was a level 6 puppet technique. Back then, he had snatched 3 puppet technique manuals, from level 1 to level 5. This level 6 puppet technique was just right for him. After he finished copying, the 2 golden books disappeared from his hands and reappeared in the hands of the red-robed cultivator. You're too kind, Grand Elder. How should we arrange this island? The blue-robed cultivator took out a beast skin scroll. After he opened it, rays of light appeared on the beast skin. Finally, the light formed a light map. Moon Sungcheon pointed to the center of the map and said, "This is Mystic Ice Island. There are several volcanic islands more than 300,000 miles to the southwest called the Earth Flame Archipelago. Although there are level 6 spirit veins there are also a few level 6 spirit beasts there. The Wen family's strength is not enough to take over the Earth Flame Archipelago. Plus, we don't have many people, so we haven't thought about taking over there. If Dao Yu is strong enough, you can settle down here." The Wen family's arrangement was a test. If the power behind Wang Daoyuan was strong enough and he didn't care about a few level 6 spirit beasts, he would naturally choose to take over the Earth Flame Archipelago. If he wasn't strong enough, he would give up on this place. Wang Daoyuan was rather tempted by the Earth Flame Archipelago. A place with volcanoes would usually have a lot of high-level refining materials. Furthermore, the land around the volcanoes was more fertile and suitable for opening up spirit fields. With the volcanoes, it was also convenient to build a fire chamber to refine pills. He could also use the fire power of the volcanoes to set up an array to dissolve the cold air from the depths of the endless ice sea and create a territory suitable for ordinary people to live in. As for the volcanic eruption, it was even less of a problem. A volcanic eruption was originally caused by the excess spirit energy in the lava that was accumulated in one place. With Wang Daoyuan's cultivation and attainments in array formations, it wouldn't take much effort to draw out the excess fire and earth spirit energy in the lava. Furthermore, there was the scarlet yang true fire and the dust returning flame. No matter how much spirit energy there was, it would be consumed. I want this land. A few level 6 spirit beasts are nothing to be afraid of. I also want some level 6 refining materials. I wonder if the Wen family can sell some. The red-robed cultivator chuckled. The Wen family has a foundation of tens of thousands of years. Naturally, we don't lack level 6 refining materials. However, what can our little friend use to exchange for them? You can't use spirit stones to exchange for level 6 refining materials, right? When I was traveling in the myriad demon islands, there were many cultivators who escaped from the rare treasure island. After some investigation, I learned a lot about the situation of the rare treasure island. I wonder if the Wen family is interested in the reason why the Blood Shark and the Seven Stars Alliance are fighting. The 2 strongest forces in the Qixing Sea Shuxin community were fighting. Naturally, others would want to know the inside story. The blue-robed cultivator took out a cold metal material from his storage ring. This is level 6 low-grade deep abyss frost iron. If placed in an extremely cold place, it has a chance of breaking through level 6 mid-grade. This piece weighs more than 50 kilograms. It won't be a problem to sell it for 1,000,000 high-grade spirit stones. It seemed that the Wen family was really anxious. It was a good opportunity to extort them. Senior, this refining material is not ordinary. I can tell you the information I've gathered. Based on this information and the secret information I've gathered, I made some conjectures. The results of these conjectures are more important than the information I've gathered. The blue-robed cultivator glanced at the red-robed cultivator. The red-robed cultivator clenched his teeth and took out a fist-sized fiery red crystal. This is a lava fire crystal. You're also a refiner. I don't need to tell you its value. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.